on YouTube you have to click go live twice.
Yeah, no, YouTube live streams are just a completely different beast that's very awkward. Remember when YouTube gaming was a thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Remember when you and I hi Zon. Remember when you and I used to be on that site that we will never name?
Yeah.
And oh well, I'm way louder. Hold on. Let me move down again. I was gonna say
Actually,
something.
I think it's on my side. I think I have your like because I couldn't hear you
Okay.
like earlier, so I can turn down your volume on my side.
Yeah, remember when you and I used to be on that site and then YouTube gaming came into the equation and then everyone's like, is it going to uproot Twitch? And then the answer was firmly, no, like a lot of Google's projects. No.
Yeah, the incredible graveyard of stuff Google has abandoned. Hey,
Smart glasses.
I have a question. Have you ever
Stadia.
touched a Stadia controller?
I have a Stadia controller. I own a Stadia controller.
Are they like good?
They are cheap feeling. No, they don't feel good. They are very cheap.
Oh.
The reason why I own a Stadia controller is because Stadia was about to close down. And my friend linked me is like, "Oh, they're doing this like giveaway thing that if you do the trial for Stadia for the first month, they'll give you a free Chromecast." So I signed up entirely for the free Chromecast, and then when I got the box, I was like, "Yo!" And they're like, "Wait, why the fuck did they give me this gross?" Oh, right, I got a Stadia. I was like, "Oh."
Oh, right.
And then I tried it out because I like controllers. I like getting controller feel, and the build quality does not definitely feels overly synthetic. It does not feel natural. It doesn't have like the nice weightiness to a regular controller.
Yeah.
The buttons are just also not resistant. They just kind of click in this very awkward way.
Hmm.
I
And how is
gotta
the
remember
D-pad?
Stadia.
Like,
Oh, the D-pad's atrocious. I would never play a fighting game on fucking Stadia controller. I was thinking about it. I was like, how long do I have to wait for this thing to like collect dust before it becomes valuable as some bizarre collector item that some YouTube video essay guy will pick it up and just talk about the Stadia for 40 minutes.
yeah, I
Mm.
don't think that's ever going to
Mm.
happen. I think it's going to be one of those things like you know, like the Nokia N-Gage and like the Evo and stuff like that.
But the N-Gage, I don't know. The N-Gage is like, if I'm thinking what the N-Gage is, I'm gonna Google it just to make sure that it's what I think it is. The N-Gage is kind of charming.
Yeah, but no, like even when someone on YouTube talk, like only a few people on YouTube talk about that kind of stuff, and even when they do,
Yeah.
like you want to know a little secret, you want to know a
What?
little secret. There is like 4 N-Gages, and every VTuber just like lends one of them to one
That's
another.
so funny. That's so funny.
Nobody's buying
Yeah, no.
like collectors N-Gages or anything
Yo,
like that.
bro,
There is 4 of them, and they just keep like shipping it all over the place.
Yo, bro, can I borrow your N-Gage for a video? I was like, yeah, I finished up my video. You can have it.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
like legitimate. I was watching a video of like a dude. You know Derek from like Stop Skeletons from Fighting.
No, I can't say that I do.
Um, he there is a very funny story about him because he's like very old school YouTube. And actually like the way he got his start is that when like the angry video game nerd got really popular and you started getting a lot of like clones of him.
People of that same genre, yeah.
Yeah, like his thing was he actually like put a twist on it. He actually put a twist on it, like and so his gimmick was that he had like the same kind of like production and the same kind of like vibe as the angry video game nerd, but he was happy and he was talking about games he liked. So he was the happy video game nerd,
That's pretty good. That's pretty sweet.
and that was like how he got his start, and he has just keep going ever since then, and he has rebranded and like. But yeah, and like his thing is still like mostly like trying to be positive. He doesn't really like rip into stuff like as much. He doesn't go into like the rage bait or anything like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making a video about like this one game for the Game Boy Color that there was a rumor that like because you know like the Game Boys had like link cables and you can connect up to like 4 Game Boys to like play multiplayer.
Oh,
right?
the link cable. I remember the link cable because the link cable was necessary for me to actually try having 4 swords,
Yeah,
like Legend of Zelda. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it turns out there is like a game on the GBA, on the Game Boy Color, sorry. Uh, that there was a rumor that if you like daisy chain link cables in the correct way, you can get like 20 players in the same in one match.
Of what game?
I don't remember the name. It was like a port of like one of the like very earliest like shooters on PC, one of the earliest first person shooters on PC.
Because I was gonna say I can't think of a single. I mean, he did it, so it exists. But like, I could not think off the top of my head of a single game in which, during the Game Boy's life, is just like, yeah, you would need 20 active players in a multiplayer setting.
I mean, you can do it with only like two, but like and like the thing is like the
Oh yeah, no, but I'm just talking about maximum. Like
yeah
that blows my
yeah
mind.
because like
Yeah.
officially the link cable supports 4 players. Like that is the maximum amount
Hmm.
that like so there was no point on any game supporting more than that because the cable doesn't support that. Um,
Hmm.
but this game was actually developed at the same time as the link cable was being like developed and researched and like made. So they didn't have like the specifications. So they just kind of went crazy with like the amount of players they could put in a single match.
Hmm.
Uh, but like it turns out there is like a couple of like very funny things. And they actually like we're developing like an adapter that allowed like more Game Boys than just 4 to be connected. But Nintendo wasn't interested in buying it. So
Yeah.
so they kind of like hid the code. They kind of just like hit the code and like covered it up a little bit on the game and then shipped it like just like claiming it supported 4 players. Uh, but at some point in the early 2000s, the game started like picking up like a rumor that it actually supported 20. So this guy Derek, he was trying to like get it to work, and it was like a journey. Um, and at some point, he did get like in one convention, he got like 20 Game Boys together and like a bunch of cables, like new cables, old cables, like all of that stuff, just to try to get it to work, and he couldn't get it to work. Like they will get to like, and the shocking thing is that they were actually able to get to more than 4. So it's clear. So it was like very clear there was like some code on the game to allow for more than 4 players, because they were able to get to 8 before they started like running into issues. They were able to like daisy chain 8 Game Boys with like the link cables, um, and they were able to get like 8 players into a match. So clearly there was some truth to the code being in the game, but they couldn't get past 8. Like every now and then they would like get like the game to show like there were 14 players ready, but when they started the match, the game just crashed. Um,
Oof.
so they started investigating, and what they realized is that actually like there is legitimately like once you start daisy chaining uh that many link cables, there is not enough power like going between the Game Boys to like actually like to because like the link cables have like a signal like a pulse signal of electricity that is used to like synchronize the Game Boys. Um,
Hmm.
and when you start to like daisy chain so many Game Boys, there is not enough power to like keep that signal stable, so they start to like go out of sync and they start like disconnecting and dropping the connection and stuff like that. Um,
The Game Boy is just like, what are you doing, father?
so there was no way to get it to work on like an official like Game Boy cable. So what they decided to do, because like on his first attempt on a convention, he actually met someone, and she is like someone who makes like uh like console mods and stuff like that. Uh,
Yeah.
so she actually made an special adapter like designed to fix that issue, and also to make it like cleaner, because like like those link cables were never like tidy. They were like big, they were thick, they had like big
Yeah.
bulges along the way.
I
So
owned one, but like I only ever used it for like Pokemon trading.
so imagine having 20 of those fucking things daisy chained together.
Yeah, no, that would be like a horrible mess. That'd be like a rat king
Yeah,
of freaking yeah.
so like the goal was also to like make it like tidier by having like a single box that would connect to like all 20 Game Boys. Uh, but also to fix the power issue. and they actually got it to work. But they were never able to get more than 19 players. And the reason they were never actually able to get 19 players is because of like a glitch on the game. Because the game has like a string. Because nowadays we have like Python and like C# and all of these like fancy programming languages that like abstract stuff into into like assemblies of English and shit.
Yeah.
Back then everything was written on like assembly and like machine code. And you had to like manually assign. You have to like manually assign like, because also like you didn't have like a lot of memory. Like I don't know how much memory the original game, the Game Boy Color had, but it was probably on the like double digit of kilobytes. You didn't have a lot of memory. And you had to like manually like, because you were working on assembly, you have to like manually map like every sector of the memory to like every piece of code. You have to like manually like assign every single like little bit of memory, and to like change it and move it. So there was like a bit of code that was designed to like assign the ID to every player.
Yeah.
An ID to every player, but it was glitched. And it was originally like programmed in a way that it would start counting from 0 and go to 19. Right? So like the first player is 0, second player is 1, third player is 2, that kind of thing. But there is a glitch that made it like assign 1 to the first player. So when it got to the 19th player, it ran out of space. So there was no ID to assign to the 20th player, so the game just crashed. And that was so then they actually like got more people involved, and they actually managed to patch the game and like flash cards. Like they actually flashed like custom Game Boy cards with like a fixed ROM that fixed that bug. And they went back to a convention and they connected like 20 GameCubes with like 20 Game Boy players. And they were actually able to play that game with 20 players.
That's like dedication. That's like insane.
Yeah, that took 2 years. It took him 2 years to get the shit working. And like they got like a lot of people involved. Like it was a journey. Wait, why did the background disappear?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was talking earlier about how I made the background myself.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so like yeah, so what I did, because I wasn't able to like get a clean video from the game itself, was that I actually like found someone who was like ripping 3D models from the game.
Mm-hmm.
I found someone who was ripping 3D models from the game, and I got this model from like the interior of the Velvet Room. And then I got it into Unity, and I made like a custom shader for like the little like light effect on the top, and I add some particles to like the windows, and I baked some lighting, and then I recorded it. And I used it once. I spent like 4 hours working on this, and I used it once.
Jesus. All right, hold on a second. I gotta bring the second dog into my room. He's being a little whiny.
Yeah, dogs are like that.
Whiny baby.
He's getting the dog chat. He's getting a dog. Actually, we have never like seen pictures of his dogs, right? Like I have only shown mine dog. We have never shown him dog.
All right, I'm back. Here's the thing with Thor. He likes leaving my room, but then he's like a cat, where if he's out of my room for too long, he just sits out of my room and mopes.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, but you wanted this.
Oh no, he lost the 50-50. I am so sorry. But I am also really glad I don't play gacha games. Like every time a new character comes out, and people start like crying out like losing the 50-50, I am so glad I don't play gacha games.
Yeah. The only one I technically play is like Mahjong Soul, but I do it just because I like mahjong.
Yeah, like
So-
like you are the one nerd that is playing the game for like the actual mahjong instead of the hot anime women.
Yeah, I mean, like the one guy I want is like a dark skinned brown guy. They have a Fate collab, and they gave 5 free rolls, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll roll. Why not? And then I got like Archer from Fate, and I'm sitting here like, this is the wrong brown white haired guy. I wanted the other one. Meanwhile, Archer's like, but don't you like Fate? I'm like, I don't know anything about Fate. What famous person are you modeled after? I'm actually an original anime OC. You're worthless. You're not even the one thing Fate's known about. He's cool. I don't want.
Porn?
I wouldn't be surprised, dude. I don't know. I'm not actually cooking Archer. He has a solid design, so I was like, yeah, whatever. He's neat.
Actually,
But I'm not about like caring.
Like, what do you think of Vivian? Like, I'm going to show you her design. I want to know.
Vivian. Oh, okay.
Like,
I thought you were talking about Aunt Vivian from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I was like, what? What a pull.
I don't remember how anyone on the like. I cannot tell you if I think she's hot because I don't remember how anyone on the show looked.
I don't either. I only remember Will Smith and Carlton because they were the and Uncle Phil.
Yeah, and I remember the
iconic trio.
I also remember the
butler.
What do you call the thing? The thing you used to play pool? The stick?
Yeah.
I remember Uncle Phil had one with a name.
I can't remember. I honestly can't.
I think
they're just called
Lucille.
Q's. Are they called Q's? Oh, Lucia. Well, okay, yeah, because of course Lucia. Vivian. Okay, Vivian Mockingbird. Her design is nice. I like the color usage. I like the kind of whitish purple to the darker purples near the end. That's neat. I'm not too into the whole like gothic Lolita thing.
Yeah.
To be fair, she's kind of just reminding me a little of Rachel Alucard, but that's because I played BlazBlue, and it's just because of the umbrella.
Yeah.
She's fine. Like I'm not crazy about her, but she's solid.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know. You know, like this company knows what they're doing, because I don't know what this GIF is, but like I found this GIF the other day, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, what are you doing?
Uh-oh. I'm worried now. You sure you can put it on stream? Oh, that's it? Alright. That's it? Alright.
Yeah, that's her. And it's like, okay.
Well, that's... whatever. It's not the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, people do that with like bow staffs and stuff to reposition. It's fine. Between Vivian or the rat and Candy convinced me to pull for Vivian. Okay.
I don't know.
I would say choose the rat, because then you could play the rat dance theme. Because it's stuck in my head.
It's still stuck in your head?
It's a really good rhythm. Okay, well lately I've been, every once in a while, I'm not too big on K-pop. This K-pop group or K-rap? Crap? No. K-pop group, I think they're called, God, what the fuck is their name? It has something to do with 82. 82 Major. It came out with a song called, like, Takeover. I didn't know what it was, but, like, the algorithm just sent it to me, and I just listened. I'm like, you know what? Those Koreans can cook. God damn. It was a catchy tune. And then I listened to it 300 times.
I realized that I am like 20 years behind everyone else when it comes to music. So like, ask me my opinion on K-pop in the year 2014 and I'll tell you.
Probably. That's fine. I'm already set in my ways, kind of. Like, I'll listen. We've had this talk before. I don't think our musical tastes necessarily intersect too much, but mine usually goes metalcore, metal, hard rock. Progressive rock can be a crapshoot because it can sometimes like really suck. Rap, various kinds of hip hop, and like I can enjoy some EDM, and that's how Dura and I kind of agree on music. Is like mostly it's just EDM with him and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just
Oh,
kinda
and I
listen to
also like
whatever.
jazz.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. Yeah, jazz is good.
But like, I also kind of listen to whatever, but like mostly old stuff because like you know how like behind the times I am. Uh,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard a Backstreet Boys song until the year 2019.
That's pretty funny. I think my music taste is the entire genre of rap, and EDM. Yeah, you're a real one. Because I just like musical uppers. I like things that like give me momentum.
Well, thank you for the
I've had
follow
this
on
talk.
Star.
Diamond
Hello,
Jam.
hello.
Oh, Star's awesome. Because I've had this talk with friends, and
Also,
it's a big
notifications are
disagreement.
working again.
Yeah, it's a big disagreement I have because I feel like during I'm gonna say late 2010s to early 2020s, we had this whole. I'm not gonna say mumble rap. Mumble rap is, I feel it's a little derogatory in some of it, but like, yeah, it's like you had like the more emotional driven songs of just kind of low energy bummer kinda and contemplating. And usually mumble rap would kind of capitalize on that as if you did not have the energy to muster up the words. But it's like I've had friends who kind of like go like, but why do you always like fight songs and like and stuff that just kind of hypes up? Like, don't you want to like get in touch with your inner self? It's like, dog, I'm depressed like 90% of the time. I need uppers.
Yeah.
What is the point? What is the point of me listening to music to feel sad? It's like I need a break from being sad. You know what I could really go for right now? Being sad.
Yeah, like I have found out that when it comes to like slow, like quiet music, I prefer the stuff that is like atmospheric and creepy instead of just sad.
Yeah, I like upbeat. It doesn't have to be fast paced or like fight music. Even though I said that, it can just genuinely be upbeat, and I'll find it fun.
Yeah,
I think
and like
I'll listen to some sad music on occasion, but it's like it's not my go-to at all. It's some, okay, wait. Let me just say on Star. It's like, no, you're totally valid for that. Sometimes, right? Yeah, it's that Star. But like sometimes it's just like not only they're having it worse, but it's like sometimes it articulates what you're feeling when you struggle to find the words.
also
And
sometimes
so, yeah.
sometimes you are pent up and you
important.
just need something that is going to make you cry because you need to get that cry.
Yeah.
out.
Sometimes you just need to know you're not alone in the struggle. That's it. I'm not putting down anyone on that. I'm just saying like there are times where I'm like the inverse, where it's like people are just like, but why aren't you listening to sad music? It's just like, why would I want to be sad?
Yeah, like sometimes, like every now and then, I have a couple of videos that I watch that I know are going to make me cry. And every now and then I watch
Me
those
too.
videos because I feel like
Me
I
too.
need.
Yeah, I need
to
a
cry out.
release. I think one of the go-tos, some of them are just video games for me. One of the go-to things that will make me cry is the end of Yakuza 7. Because that is the most real it has ever been of a villain and a protag of just like a golden retriever and a flawed human being, and it is just like, you cannot save me or fix me. I am so utterly broken. And and the other person going, I'm gonna try though because I love you, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I get that.
Ichiban's the goat, always, forever.
Wait, what goat? I thought you were talking about like a golden retriever. Where did a goat come from?
Well, there are goats. There are goats in Yakuza 7 too.
Yeah, I have seen them. The ones on like
Yeah,
when you're
in the
falling asleep
movie
and the
minigame.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a dope minigame, but yeah, Ichiban's a golden retriever.
Yeah, Yakuza is a goofy. It's goofy games.
It's
goofy
goofy.
times.
I love it. I'm trying to think of, has Devil May Cry ever made me actually cry? No, it hasn't. Has Resident Evil? No. Trying to think of any of these. No, I don't think so.
I think I cried the first time I finished Persona 3 and Persona 4.
I feel like I knew you were gonna say Persona. Yeah. That's an like, I remember this was like a talk in, I know I reference like the Castle Super Beast podcast all the time, but it's like one of my favorite podcasts of all time. It's like
we in a way we are Castle Super Beast from Temu.
we are hot mega creatures.
Yeah.
but there was that talk of just like and I'm sure everyone here has like felt it, right? Is when you play like especially JRPGs and like I feel like some long standing Japanese games of just like this ensemble cast that becomes your friends.
Yeah.
And then
like
you get attached, but then as you get closer to the end, you dread it because those characters aren't going to return. Not necessarily because they're going to die or anything. It might just be an anthology series, you know, maybe your Final Fantasies, maybe your Persona, etc. But like, you know, it's very unlikely that they're going to return. So you feel this goodbye that's coming. And I'm also a person who hates goodbyes. I just genuinely do. So like it will make you shitty. I haven't had that so far until until like Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. And like it's spin-offs. Like the first time I played it's like, oh, I'm not gonna see them again. Apollo Justice came back, it's like, oh, that's neat. And then we're at 6 and it's like we might never get a 7. So as soon as I finish 6, it might be the last Ace Attorney game and I'll be like really depressed because 6 games worth of characters that I've built to know and love and have become a routine in my life. Yeah, it can be a bummer.
Yeah.
Like that with some animes too. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Because Silent here plays Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually have that feeling of a heartbreaking goodbye at the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I also hate that ending at the same time. It's one of those endings where it's like, we're a found family. All right, time to split up because we finished our journey. It's like, fuck, what? So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I am okay with like the idea of like, you know, like it doesn't affect me as much like having like that ensemble cast that you get to care about and the game ends. I don't know. I feel like if they get like a good arc, like that is satisfying enough for me, and I don't need them to like keep coming back.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I don't know. There's something I would like.
I think it's just the goodbye.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like,
There's just something. Yeah.
Like that is the thing I would like Persona 3 and Persona 4 and Persona 4 and Persona 3 special. Like, because I feel like Persona 4.
Well, Persona 3 especially. Persona 3's ending is.
Yeah, but like I feel like Persona.
Yeah.
Persona 5 sidesteps that because like everyone has a fucking cell phone.
Yeah, true.
But like in Persona 4, you know, you like yeah, you got to like you went through hell and back with like these people, and then you just have to leave. Go back to your town.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I truly do find we're found family, we're like what is it, as close as thieves or as tight-knit as thieves, and then at the end it's like, all right, we've suddenly all gotten our dreams together, so we'll all split up and maybe we'll reunite in 30 years and never talk to each other again. Is it bad you haven't seen a single episode of 5Ds? It's one of the best ones. I think it's like the second. It's either the first best or second best. Like it's either that or Vrains. So yeah. I was watching. My friend came over, and we were watching Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds because we've been marathoning Yu-Gi-Oh series, which is pretty funny, as a way to bond, because they have no idea how Yu-Gi-Oh plays. So I just explain the meta to them at the time, and then we just kind of watch for the character stories as well.
I don't know, like I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh, but I was really into like the card game when I was a child.
Oh my god, I still am. I'll tell you, the anime, the Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's anime, really solid arc. It has like a little meandering in the middle, because they were trying to find out the new arc like plot thing. Really works out. Have I said like talked about Yu-Gi-Oh Vrains on the podcast?
I don't think you have. You have mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh,
I think
but you've never gotten like super deep into it.
It's my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh because of the It is so funny. It is so funny, Candy. You want to know how Yu-Gi-Oh Vrains starts off, Candy?
Oh.
It's gonna play completely straight. All right. There's no one's like self-aware or making any jokes. The main character is kidnapped as a child with 5 other children and hooked up to machines where they play duel monsters over and over again so that because they're child brains and they're developing, so that their child brains can be scanned to form ultimate AI. And since they're kidnapped and away from home, if you lose the duel, you get shocked and you don't get like food.
Yeah.
And if you win, you get slightly better portions. And they do this for like, I don't know, half a year until the police come and then save them. And all of them have trauma. And the main character's entire plot point is, I'm going to find the people who did this to me and I am going to get my revenge. and he's like kind of calm and cool, but like when it comes to the talk about revenge, he's all about it. But here's the thing, all right? That's one part, right, Candy? So then he also gets help from another one of the victims, like brother. Like, because they found it was like, oh, my brother went in this and now he's like completely mentally gone. He just kind of goes off base instincts and he doesn't talk to anyone and I'm so heartbroken and we need to get revenge. So then the protag, we'll just call him Yusa. Yusa duels a guy.
Isn't that the way like Jar Jar Binks calls
Yusa gonna duel me? Yeah. But like, no, his whole name is Yusaku.
Going to the shadow dimension.
So Yusa fights one of the most noble anime characters ever, right? This guy is like noble to a T. He is the mentor big brother, right? Kind of like character. He isn't that close to the main character. They just meet off of a misunderstanding. They're dueling.
Is that how that is written? Like B with like
yeah, like, VR reigns. VR Ains.
So like
it's virtual reality. Reigns. Yeah, VR Ains.
Oh, that's
VR AI. Virtual reality, artificial intelligent. I don't know what the NS is. But here's the thing.
You could have settled with the fact that it is written to be like a pun with VR, AI, and brains.
Well, here's the thing. We had a Yu-Gi-Oh named Zexel. What is even on the table? Like, all of this is stupid. Did you know Zexel's supposed to be Zeal Candy?
Huh?
Anyway. Yeah, I know. It's dumb. Anyway, moving on. So Yusa, his real name's Yusaku, but I'm just going to call him Yusa. Yusa is fighting this character who's like the noble trope. He's actually well-meaning and very kind of the Japanese like strength through adversity thing. And in the middle of the duel, he knows about Yusa's trauma, and he goes like, because Yusa's a high schooler, because of course every anime kid is a high schooler, like main character, and he's just like, you shouldn't be consumed by revenge. The hate in your heart will destroy your life. You're young. Live your life. Learn new things. Find new things to explore. Find something that excites you. Fall in love for the first time. There's so much to life that you could live. And it's just, the camera slowly pans on Yusa, and Yusa goes, I want revenge! And Yusa completely obliterates the guy in the duel, like so hard the guy goes into a coma, and then the episode ends, and I guess I'm just sitting there viewing it as like a 20-something-year-old going like, I guess revenge goes hard is the moral of the story.
What?
Yusa is like, he's up there. He's up there as a protagonist. Oh, well, it also actually, yeah. And you know what, Candy, it's important to know this is all played super straight.
yeah, I know. But like I don't know. It reminds me of like that video. Have you ever seen that video of like a guy going like, I don't want peace. I want trouble always.
Yeah, it's like he's just decimating. And there are actual cool things about it, even though like it's a nerdy kid anime about cards. It's like Yusa talks about trauma in a very interesting way, where there are these because there are 6 kids who got into this, right? This program. So you meet some of the other victims and how they internalize trauma, and it's very fascinating because Yusa talks about how trauma made him feel like time has stopped moving and he's perpetually trapped in a singular moment, unable to escape. But then there's another character who was like the most asocial kind of high functioning, I don't want to say psychotic, but he's very detached from everything. His mom's a tree. Like, he just lives under a tree and he calls it mom. But like, his whole thing after the traumatic event, he has never talked to Yusa, but his viewpoint is inverted. He's like, oh, I just felt nothing before this, but then when you're close to death, I was just like, time started moving. And it's really chilling to see these very different internalizations of PT from a card game anime for kids, but it was pretty metal. I liked it. First season's pretty good, and then the season after kind of has like a weird way of like trying to get the characters to dislike each other and whatever. But then I heard it ends okay, so I gotta actually rewatch it. First season was pretty good.
Speaking of like convoluted stuff, can you
Yeah, they
please,
have
like,
the scanners inside. Yeah.
in the most concise way, because I keep seeing this. I keep seeing this on my YouTube feed. I keep seeing people like post about like that new like Gundam Cox show on my feed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you please like explain to me in the most concise way what the fuck is going on with Gundam? Why are there so many? Like, what are the subtitles? Like, what the fuck is going on there?
You mean like why there's so many different titles?
Yeah, and like what is like?
Okay, they're just
like
different timelines.
Dimension? Oh.
Yeah. So mainline Gundam is called Universal Century. That's the one that Candy and Dura were talking about with like Giran, the guy who went like, that Hitler guy was spitting though. That's who here Giran is. Yeah, I told you about this. This entire I feel so bad. Okay, wait. I want to go on a. I want to go on a rant after.
You say that like that might be like horrible out of context.
I'm a colored guy. There's no way I could be a Nazi. I don't. What am I supposed to do? How am I? Yeah, but like a part of me is just sitting there and going like, how would anything they do benefit me? Like,
yeah.
Like, so in UG in as a sidebar, Universal Century takes place in the future in our timeline, right? But it's so far in the future, certain historical figures are just forgotten. So Hitler's forgotten. So one guy is just like, we should make sure that us Xeon are the only ones and that the space race is the next stage of evolution. And then his dad is just all sitting there is like, well, son, you're starting to sound a lot like this ancient figure from the olden times named Hitler. And Giran's like, a Hitler. And he's like, yes, he was a fool who was self-destructive and perceived a master race and pushed his plans. And then the dad leaves the room thinking that Giran is like convinced like not to go down that route. Meanwhile, Giran took the complete wrong path and he's just looking out his window in his reflection going like, that Hitler guy was spitting. Like, it's just this conclusion. It's the stupidest conclusion. You're just sitting there. It's like, how did you miss the point?
Yeah, because I keep seeing things, like, you know. Like,
yeah, I'll say Gundam has gotten more popular to the millennial and Gen Z generation than it ever has in my concurrent, like in my timeline. As growing up, I watched a lot of Gundam. I was mostly caught up with UC at the time, Gundam Wing, 00, like those timelines and stuff. And so it's interesting. It's probably because of like political dissection is a very prevalent thing nowadays for people of that age demographic. So a lot more people are watching Gundam, which is wild to me.
Yeah, it's probably because of the lesbians.
Well, Quacks is only half of it, because Witch of Mercury and Quacks is like Iron-Blooded Orphans is, oh my god, Star, you chose the weirdest one. It's not bad. Like, Gundam Barbados is cool, but like, I don't know. Iron-Blooded Orphans is like weird because Iron-Blooded Orphans, Candy, has they're war orphans, right?
Yeah, as you do.
And then at some point, they go onto a ship, and the ship is one guy with his harem of like 50 women, and they have like a nursery. And it's just, why do you have the MILF spaceship? What plot point was this?
Wouldn't you have
But
one?
yeah, I would. That's beside the point. But hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. The main character has 2 love interests, and then he's trying to figure out what to do. So he goes to the captain there, and he's like, "What should I do?" And he's like, "Why are you choosing one?" It's like, yeah, of course you like. Why would you go to the polygamist for this advice? This is the exact problem set. That's like, his solution isn't going to be in your wheelhouse. Yeah, there was. You don't remember Star? How young were you when you watched? Yeah.
We in this house we love ethical non-monogamy.
Oh, it was so funny. So funny. I was maybe like, yeah. 11. Okay, you probably didn't remember it. So that's the second point I'm going to go on. No, I mean, third point I'm going to go on. So Universal Century is kind of like far on our own timeline, and then it kind of evolves into its own. Then they made split off timelines because they didn't want to like taint the original, because it's very much a political ideology sort of thing, and the you can make arguments on what it's kind of dissecting into, like the us versus them mentality after colonialism and independence and etc. and the human psyche. Although like there are just some things from the original that are just so weird. Like the main rival has like the biggest Oedipus complex on the face of the earth. Literally, Char Aznable, Candy, is fighting Amuro, right? And Amuro accidentally killed his girlfriend, who Amuro was also kind of in love with. And in their final confrontation, Amuro goes, "Char!" And then Char goes like, "You took Lala! She was like a mother to me!" I'm like, hold up. You can't be saying that. You were dating her.
Yeah.
Hold up. Uno momento, por favor.
Yeah, I mean, like there is a big difference between calling your girlfriend mommy and calling your girlfriend mother.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing: if people really do want to watch Gundam, and I always do recommend it. Oh wait, sorry, my thoughts are entirely scattered because I was focusing on UC. So then the alternate universes came about, so they could be their own independent thing and just kind of still have the mecha, and kind of maybe talk about different political aspects that UC doesn't necessarily touch upon, or just kind of go way more into the anime route or character stories. Mm-hmm. And what was I gonna say? Character stories. Yeah, so like a lot of them are different, right? So like Double O is the idea. Oh my god, never mind. Double O was a bad place to start. Iron-Blooded Orphans, I suppose, is like, you know. No, that's also a mess. A lot of the side Gundams are messes now that I think about it. Double O has like, I think, a private military company playing superhero. But then it gets weird, Candy, because like the movie makes it stupid. Because okay, short thing is like in Gundam, the idea is Earth's gravity is halting our evolution, which is bizarre. So in space, you will evolve to transcend a sixth sense and become a new type. Yeah. And yeah, it's dumb. It's all dumb. But get off my planet, space noise. I shake my fist at Xeon. You'll always get contemporaries in the other animes. So in Double O, you get innovators, where it's like you evolve an extra part of your brain. And so like one of the plot points in it is like one of the guys who was like, I think the first innovator, talks about like, we need innovators to advance forward, hence the name Innovate, right? Because they have more brain function and stuff like that. And then you find, he says that in a video call, not a video call, on like a recorded video, right? But then the movie, Candy, tells you that video call stopped before a vital part, is that he went, we need innovators to advance so that we can meet aliens. And then aliens are the villains of the movie. And you're just like, oh.
Where do the lesbians come in?
That would be Witch of Mercury. Witch of Mercury and I guess Quacks.
I'm going to keep calling
Are the aliens? No, they're like a metalloid. They're like a metalloid symbiote. I mean, Witch of Mercury, they keep... Okay, so Witch of Mercury, the official anime, does not quote-unquote say that the two girls end up together. But in Witch of Mercury, literally the creator of the series went, no, they're married.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're confirmed. They're confirmed. They're a very cute couple. They're a very cute couple. Gundam Age. Gundam Age's entire storyline can be summed up to my grandpa's really racist. And it's becoming a problem. And that's it.
Where do the unicorns come in?
You mean Gundam Unicorn? No, Gundam Unicorn's UC. It's just the mech name for the Gundam, the unicorn.
And where does Hathaway come in?
No, Witch of Mercury is gay. Star knows. What?
Where does Hathaway come in?
Oh, why do I... Fuck, hold on. I have to remember Hathaway. Because there's so many titles, so I have to remember. Is it who I think it is? Is it Noah's son? Because Noah's a piece of shit. Yeah. I haven't watched Hathaway, but it follows a character who I'm not too fond of. The world's biggest simp for a character that sucked.
All I know about Hathaway is that there is a very hot blonde woman in it.
I think she was a girl Char rejected because he's like, but I want mommy. I don't know.
I have heard.
I can't remember which one.
I have heard the credit song for Hathaway, and it is a fucking banger.
I'd imagine.
Because it was composed by Hiroyuki Sawano.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to watch Hathaway, but like, yeah. And then Gundam Wing is utter nonsense because it goes back and forth on the idea of how pacifism is ineffective, but then like they also promote pacifism. The meme, it's just boy band saves the earth. For Wing.
Yeah, boy band.
That's just mostly. It's just boy band. It's just the Backstreet Boys got into Gundams and saved the earth. Because people from Mars are annoying.
Get on the robot, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, but like, okay, so everyone talks about the meme where Hero from Gundam Wing like rips up this invitation from Relena's like party, and then she cries and he wipes her tear and he goes, "I'll kill you." It's like an emotional roller coaster in 5 minutes, and it's the funniest thing. No one talks about one of my favorite scenes from the movie, which is they are in what they consider an impenetrable fortress, right? And they're taunting Hero. And Hero is in his Gundam with its giant guns that pierce through the heavens. And he's aiming it at the base, right? And the people in the base are like, you won't be able to penetrate this fortress. Also, you won't shoot because your girlfriend's here. And this is already established that they love each other. And she's just like, you don't know Hero. He'd do it. And he's just like, so you're saying I can shoot? And she's the person holding her hostage is like, see how powerless you are. And then he shoots. And then the whole base shakes and they're like, whoa, hold up a second. And he's like, shooting again. And he just keeps on doing it. And he's like, not enough power. Let me route my mech's entire energy source into this shot and it will explode, but it'll probably kill them all.
Well, that is one of my favorite tropes when they decide, oh, I need all the power on this one gun.
Yeah, and Hero does it. He does not care. He's like, as long as I kill you. And he shoots, and the base gets messed up. His girlfriend survives, of course, but everyone's just like, Hero guy is a psychopath. And she's like, yes, and I love him. and then it got this weird novel that's like a sequel where it's like he's cryogenically frozen, and then everyone he meets is like related to the people he used to run with, and they're like exact carbon copies. This is really lame. It's really lame. Hellsing's also good. Let's see. But yeah, okay. So all this tangent aside, Gundam is very emblematic of a thing I struggle with, is I have a hard time wanting to rewatch series unless I have a friend to rewatch with me. Like, I can't do it on my own.
No, yeah, I get
and yeah, and the thing is, I feel like nowadays I have to start taking notes when I watch shows so I don't, inevitably forget things that are important. Because as time goes on, you only take away certain core experiences, and then when someone who freshly watches it tells you about stuff that you forgot, you feel bad. And since I have so many friends joining into Gundam now, I feel so bad because it's like, oh man, I don't feel like I can be as effective in conversation because it's mostly the heaviest stuff that I'm remembering instead of some of the small details.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Like you're going to get into a conversation with your friends and you're going to pull out your fucking like notebook. It's like, let me see.
Yeah, I'll do that.
According to my notes.
Excuse me. Listen, I did that for like Ace Attorney because Dur and I are doing an Ace Attorney tier list thing, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just fun. I think also just like you and I are very much, well, no, you replay things a lot. So I'll say myself is I'm very much interested in so many varieties of things that I really want to get to the new thing as well, rather than just tread on old stuff.
Yeah.
Because there are times when I rewatch something and then it all sort of floods back to me piecemeal. So you wonder how much you should really rewatch and stuff like that. It's tough. But when it becomes like a thing where like my friend's like, oh, I want to get into this thing, and I'm like, oh, I have an excuse to rewatch it, then it works because then there's a social aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
But with Gundam, it's like 152, 100, 150 episodes, like 3 movies, just to be caught up to Char's counterattack, and then the rest is up to you, because they're usually like 52 eps a piece for the series. So.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much.
It is, especially if you want to get caught up. So, oh, that's a shame, Star. I like anime a lot, but I haven't been catching up as much lately. Kengan was like last one.
A problem eventually.
What?
And I feel like that's also like one of the reasons, for example, that like they are like remaking One Piece twice right now.
Because One Piece anime. Oh, we talked about this already. I mentioned is the fillers baked in.
Yeah, but the thing is like,
yeah,
it's like at some point, if you want your thing to keep growing, you have to be like, okay, how do we allow people to just not do the old stuff anymore? Because
not do the old stuff.
Because the more old stuff there is, the higher the barrier of entry for new people into your franchises.
Yes. That, I mean, games are very, very representative of this as well, because like, if you saw a series and the number becomes like 10, it's why game series like to avoid numbers now. Is it just becomes automatically intimidating to any audience who's just trying to hop on.
That's also why people are always asking, do I need to like do this before do I need to play the old one?
The homework. The homework situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I feel like that is that like for like that really has benefited like stuff like like Zelda and like Final Fantasy, stuff like that, where like
it's the funny. Yeah, exactly. It's the funny thing because people will self-assign that to them for stuff that's like anthological, which doesn't make sense. Because like, sure, your payoff might be some references here and there. Yeah. You'll be like, here's Sid, here's Gilgamesh, here's like your High Wind, etc. Right? But like, it's not necessary for enjoying the isolated story. That's why they're made. They're made by, some of them are made by completely different directors, and they only go off like some things being recurring, right? Like, there are some games where it is kind of effective for you to know everything, like Dissidia kind of bases its idea that you've played at least some of the Final Fantasies before.
Yeah, but
because it's a dream fighter.
Dissidia is explicitly like the fun event.
Yeah, exactly. But like
Dissidia is marketed for new people. Dissidia is marketed for people that are already fans.
Yeah, exactly, is what I'm saying. Whereas like a regular Final Fantasy, it's like there's no harm in you playing Final Fantasy 9 if you haven't played Final Fantasy 3.
Yeah.
Like that, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, and the ones that are directly connected have that in the name.
Yeah, and it's like
there are 3 Final Fantasy 13s, so you need to play all 3, but like they are all Final Fantasy 13.
I do see the allure of people, like the allure for people to become like encyclopedic on a franchise that they love, right? But you can only do so much. Like, even then, you're not going to remember everything. not all the references, not all the Easter eggs, and that's something you have to kind of like just accept sometimes. And the thing that kind of keeps you in the loop is just discussion with friends regularly on some of these things, or just looking actively on these discussions.
Wait, is this scan not working?
So. No, you already got scanned.
Oh.
Yeah, you got scanned when you stood still, and it looked fine.
I think I need a notification for that one. I keep missing the scans.
Okay. But yeah, like Gundam's cool. I'd recommend it for people who kind of do want to do some political dissection and just like mechs. Like I've made a few Gunplas. It's a vice. One of the many, along with Yu-Gi-Oh! In video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd recommend it. Even if you don't like Universal Century, like hop on to some other of the stupid crap that's around and just watch, and you'll probably find something. And that reminds me, I have a friend. Yeah, I mean, Witch of Mercury's good. I haven't watched Cucks or Quacks or whatever we want to call it, but like, you know, if it is that, then power to you on that. I haven't watched it yet. I know that it takes place in an alternate timeline in UC. I'll eventually try it, but I'll allow it. Don't worry.
Why does Twitch keep doing that?
I don't know. Maybe it's like worried about like political shit or trying to push that.
Let her say lesbian. Twitch, let her say lesbian.
Twitch vehemently denies the existence of lesbians.
Twitch allow her to say lesbian. Jesus Christ.
But you know what? Just you know what? You just be clever. Just swap it out with Sapphite. Let me see if I can get away with Sapphite. Yeah, put Sapphite.
Gay?
You could say Sapphic, but I'm saying like Sapphite in substitution to lesbian if it's like banned on Twitch. Yeah, see? Because Twitch isn't cultured.
Wait, will it catch me? I wonder if it will catch me if I say...
Because you're the creator? Okay. Yeah, you have all the power. Yeah, I think it's because I allowed them now. Because it said added permitted term.
Almost 6? No. Yeah, I guess I can say whatever I want.
Okay. Oh no, but every time Star has to, she. Okay, this is what were we talking about? All right.
Let her say lesbian.
So like anthological animes too. Like you have like you have Yu-Gi-Oh, you have Gundam. So we just talked about that. I might end up rewatching all of JoJo with another friend because because Steel Ball Run is coming out, so we want to maybe get into that. But yeah, we have done this for an hour and we haven't talked about our week. So ladies first, Candy, you talk about your week.
This week I was very stressed, very sick, and I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, stuff happened, but I don't want to talk about it because it's.
That's fair. That's fair. I have some stuff that's a little too messy. That's close to home, and it's just like annoying. So what did I do this week? I didn't really watch any anime, but I've been trying to chip away at some of the backlog. Monday I played A Little to the Left. Oh no, okay, wait, first thing. So we were doing the group recording thing for Ghost Trick that I did with my friends. Which is something I kind of recommend if you have a visual novel. And you want to burn it off your backlog, but you're a bit nervous, is get some friends in VC and do the whole voice thing, but then get them to dub it, because then everyone kind of gets engaged.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fun. We had the adult schedule problem again, where it's like 2 days we ended up canceling, but we got like, I think maybe 2 sessions in otherwise. And I want to say we're like 40%, no, 40 or 50% done. Ghost Trick. Great game. I looked at the models and like, I looked at the old footage and like the up-resing of the sprite art would not have looked good in comparison to this. So this is like a fine switch for it. Writing for the characters is really fun. Shu Takami Also the Ace Attorney director and stuff, and his crew are just excellent when it comes to making kind of really likable characters with weird designs and just being like fun to talk to.
And dogs.
Yeah, and like the dialogues that come because there's one where like there's a waitress who's like over the top and like kind of crazy, and then every time she leaves the table of a different customer, the customer goes like odd girl, and then one other person goes I agree, and then your ghost will go me too, and it's like a recurring gag. And like you just get to see all these fun different characters, the ability to visit different locations at different parts of the night, and seeing how this kind of all adds up and fleshing out details for smaller characters that might not be active in the current plot, but it's just like pretty fun. Heavy recommend. It is the way we're going about it, where we kind of exhaust the dialogue, because I always love additional dialogue and permutative dialogue in games, because I think it's a very fun way for writers to flex their muscles.
One of my favorite examples of that is that one character on Somnium, where you meet the receptionist the first time.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah. Like, it's just like a receptionist with huge breasts. He's behind the desk.
Yeah, and
you
if
keep flirting her, and eventually it just becomes huge breasts.
Yeah, but then I think like at some point if you keep flirting, like doesn't I detonate?
I think so. And so at some point he just says it. At some point he just like he's thinking. At some point he just says huge breasts like out loud.
Yeah.
And actually, like, do you remember there is like a fake ending? There is like a fake ending where you ask her out and she goes yeah, and you just leave.
I'll say this, Star. I'm not too big on like random notes on the ground. That works in horror games, sort of, when there's not too much dialogue per se. But when it's a lore heavy thing, I don't know. It just feels like homework, like an additional thing to just do, versus like the natural conveyance of like an earnest conversation that's fun, or like something like that. It's exposition. It has to exist, but it's like, I don't know, there could be more fun ways of delivering this.
Yeah.
I'm sure some lore master like Vadi in the equivalent of in like Genshin is just like has all the lore videos and references the notes and cites it like a Bible, so I don't know. Then I finished A Little to the Left on Monday. 2-hour game, 3-hour game, very cute. I got it for like what, $9, $7? Would I say it's worth it? I think it's a bummer it has DLC. It feels like the DLC should be included in the actual package because I don't think it adds much to the playtime. It's a cute game. In terms of puzzles, like most of them were not hard, but there was one that kind of like lasted an hour, and that was the most difficult we got out of it. Everything else kind of just worked. And it was a smooth ride. I'd recommend it if it was like $7 or less. It's a fun way to kind of like sate your OCD because of how it organizes structures and stuff like that. So if you have that itch in your brain, but
which we know you.
Yeah, and then I finished.
Giggle you have ever giggled.
Yeah, I do that when I jokingly am perverted. I do that like if someone says something and then like I try to sound flustered because it sounds like my brain is shutting off. it's because I just think it's a funny response. And then I finished Great Ace Attorney 1 finally. Really good game. Again, this is one of those things where I'm going to feel bad when we say goodbye to the cast because I think it's just confirmed that Great Ace Attorney 2 is just like the end of those characters' art. And they're all very lovable. So it takes place during the Meiji era, right? So like in this hypothetical situation where Japan and Britain, where Japan and Britain keep like commingling. So in you can say it now. In Great Ace Attorney 2, Candy, in case 1, you don't play as the main character, you play as like his sidekick, and she is disguising her because she went back to Japan. She's disguising herself as a man so she can be a lawyer because during that time a woman wouldn't be allowed in court. Right?
Yeah.
And It's pretty funny because you get to have this more endearing thing of this character where she seems confident as your sidekick, but then she starts to, you hear her inner monologue is like, how did he manage to do this? Like you see this kind of bond develop in that way, and then you see that she inherits some of his mannerisms, be they the nervous ones or the good ones, which is very sweet. But one of my favorites is also because she has a male persona, she apparently subconsciously became misogynistic when she got the male persona. So she's defending a med student who's her best friend, right?
Yeah.
And the med student's a woman. So during this time, one of the witnesses goes, "Oh, she wouldn't do this because she's an educated med student." And then like she goes like, "But wouldn't a woman have her crazy wild erratic behavior because woman, am I right?" And then it goes back to the male the male witness is like, "That's extremely narrow-minded of you. You aren't going to progress this country any further with that mindset. Women can do what men do." And then she's just, you're just like, how did she become the most sexist person in the room? And then it comes back to her and her inner monologue is like, I think my male persona is taking over a little too much. Which is really funny.
I made a loop in my brain and he's taking over.
Yeah, it's a really cute exchange because it characterizes her as like this bizarre goofball, and then the witness is a G. His name's Hosonaga. He's like the nicest guy ever.
His
so
name
like
is Jose?
it just Hosonaga.
Oh.
Yeah, and
So
he's very endearing. Oh no. But like yeah, and then the Miss Sandra's coming out. So
I always forget to.
That was pretty good. I finished the first case. I have 4 more cases to go. I'm not necessarily, I don't know, do people as I continue this and I try finding snippets of funny stuff, do people want me to say more out of context spoilers the next week when I finish this stuff, or would you rather kind of like wait it out? I don't know. I think I have fun saying out of context spoilers, but who knows.
I think they're fine.
Okay.
But I guess we'll see how they think. What they think about it.
Yeah. True. Definitely, I would recommend if you were going to play any Ace Attorney, I'd say play Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 because it's just 2 games instead of the original trilogy, and then you get a complete character arc. If you're willing to go further, I'd say maybe play the OG trilogy, but like 2 out of 3 of one of those games is like the starting game is like pretty good, then the second, but it kind of falls off near the end, and then the second game's like bad until the final case, which is immaculate, and then the third game is just a solid game all the way through. But yeah, I'm trying to think of more memorable moments. A lot of Great Ace Attorney is pretty fun. I took a lot of snapshots from the Switch feature, so like when I run notes with Duro when we play,
speaking of that,
it'll be fun.
Switch too.
But, see, here's the thing. I'm finishing as many Switch games as I can to see if I should sell my Switch one, but it's like I've been hearing like not necessarily only the delay, just like some of the other bummer stuff of just like how they operate like backwards compatibility and stuff like that, which it's getting me hesitant. So I might just sell it and then hold on to the money and see how that plays out. And then get it if there's a sale or something. Truth be told, I love genuinely getting my hands on new tech.
Yeah.
There's a very satisfying feeling about inspecting like a new console or something. I think it's just like the inner kid in me, just like remembering like opening up a gift like a DS and just being mesmerized by it, even if it's not technically impressive. But it's like
I don't know. I think
right.
Like the hardware on the Switch 2 is really, really impressive. So it's
for what it is, though.
So it's probably going to be like a really fun little thing when it gets jailbroken. So if it ever gets jailbroken, I will get one.
I think it will. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. Because those people are crazy. They'll do it. They'll find a way. Is there anything else I played? No. So like I'm gonna try finishing Great Ace Attorney 2 after Then I'm gonna try doing Phoenix Wright Cross Layton, and then I'll finally get to 5 and 6. And I think the other games that I'm looking into next week, or maybe the week after, are gonna be like Tactical Breach Wizards and Outer Worlds. So
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 continues to be in the back going play me, and I go, no, I don't know how you made me not hyped for Jill, but
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I also hate the argument. I hate the argument when someone says something stupid like, are you not playing the game because it's the one with the girl pro tag? It's like Resident Evil 2 had Claire. Claire's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, Resident Evil 1, Jill is the best option between her and Chris.
Yeah. And she's a Santa.
Jill has more inventory. She's just the best pick. You think you should go to bed? Okay, Star.
Night, Star. Thank you for stopping
Or
by.
keep us in the background as usual, and maybe we'll mention lesbians again. Maybe. I know you. I know what you are, Star. You're a sleeper agent, and that's your
God, Twitch, stop!
and that's your activation word.
It's like I'm going to have to like manually add every fucking permutation, every fucking way of like writing the word lesbian.
Just start saying lebsians.
Lepsian.
Lebsian. It hates me that I started. Did I manage to do anything else? Had to help some family, but that ended up in some annoying places. Had a friend over today. I talked about that. We watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Very nice. Very wholesome time. She met the dogs and the cat. And you know, my pets are very friendly to people, so they just enjoy themselves. And yeah, not too much on this. Sebastian, like I think the annoying thing is with Ghost Trick, it feels like we could have gotten it done by now, but it's like one, it's just adult schedules. Two, when we all gather in the call, I'm not operating on normal time. I'm operating on Filipino time with some friends.
Yeah.
Now, before any of you go like, Nick, I'm like, this is a thing with them, and I've grown up with Filipinos, and they've told me about it since I was a kid. And it's just like, any plan you get, just expect us to be late. I'm like, what sort of shit? It's a VC at home. How are you getting late for a VC at home if you've already been home for a couple hours from work? It's the same friend group with the one friend who was like, I gotta go get a snack. Oh, she means popcorn. She's just gonna microwave some popcorn. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. Comes back 30 minutes. So I made spaghetti.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh my god. Listen, I can be forgiving on people being late if it's the morning. I'm not a morning person either, so I'm probably gonna be late in the morning. But if it's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 p.m., and I've told you days in advance and you went, got it, don't worry, I'll make it. And then I come in and then the day of, you go, actually, I'm going to be there like 9. I just go, oh my god.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
If you are dedicated enough to being lazy, you can be late for anything.
You can be late for anything. You can be late for anything. I think when I became an exec at like a thing, at like an extracurricular group, I was more on time. It really, because people had to rely on me doing my job. So like, yeah, I used to even show up late for some of my jobs back in the day because I'm just my terrible sleep schedule. So
yeah, I mean, considering I have died and then I came back, I have technically been late to my own funeral.
I think I'm gonna be when you know, when I die, Nick. Knock on the wood. I'm gonna get cremated the day before they invent the technology to bring people back. I feel like that's my luck.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, oh, yeah, you know, and my dust will just be like, oh.
Why don't unfortunate timing.
What unfortunately timing.
Your ghost is just going to be there, like.
Well, this is what it is.
Hey, Killa.
And Killa being angry at me again. I see.
He's just being a tsundere.
Oh. Fair. I really wish I could think of more on my week, but I don't think there was anything else. I feel, okay, have you started getting this thing where you worry about, like, as the week ends, you're just like, I don't feel like I got enough to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm starting to have that.
And I start like planning. Okay. So we can like go from this, and then we can like move into this topic. Maybe I don't know because I don't have anything to say for myself.
Yeah. We used to try doing the news thing, but it's like I feel like there's just so much happening that it gets overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like I guess if we're going to like go that route, I guess like the big thing, I guess like the big thing this week was Oblivion again.
I never said anything like that. Oh yeah, how are your feelings on Oblivion? Because you're a big Elder Scrolls fan, even though Morrowind's your favorite.
I like Oblivion, but I don't want to play the remake. I want to keep playing the original one.
That's valid. That's about your alley.
Yeah, I don't like, but like as far as I understand, the remake is like the gameplay is the same. It's only the graphics that are new.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, wasn't it? It was like hybrid remaster remake or something.
Yeah, and actually, like
that's a weird thing.
I did check, and there is like a folder. There is like a folder on like the remake that has all the files for the original game.
That's so weird. Is it going to be one of those things where you can, on Steam, you can just upgrade from the original optionally?
No, you have to buy it.
It's a completely separate title.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I kind of hate the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just like a huge problem I have with like, like modern games in general. Is that like Unreal Engine is very good at one thing, so every Unreal Engine game looks the same.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because like, why start with Oblivion? Why not start with Morrowind and then Oblivion? This is a completely an outsider perspective, so I wouldn't.
Because if they were going to do Morrowind, they would actually have to remake the gameplay.
Oh right, is it that dated?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, I have seen like some like footage of like the Oblivion remake, and it just looks like every other game now. Like it looks
okay, you know what?
Generic.
This is a good question. I suppose not. Well, this is a good topic, or so. Has there ever been a remake that you feel is not as good as the original?
I mean, I feel like because it just looks like every other game now, this one is like inferior to the original.
Okay. But like I'm gonna say others as well, like
because
other games.
The original has a look, but like for the same reason, I also really dislike. For the same reason, I also really dislike the Demon Souls remake. I think it completely.
Yeah, we're getting to the problem of the Unreal Engine being considered a fix, and then you're. Oh no, wait, was it Bluepoint?
Yeah, but like, yeah, in that case,
did Bluepoint use Unreal?
No, it is their own in-house engine. And
they use their in-house, yeah.
Yeah, and in that case, like, it doesn't look like every other game. Like, it has like a look to it, like the way they do lighting and the way they do like it has like a different look. And but
it doesn't.
I do think their engine is like probably like one of the best ones out there right now.
Yeah, but it did lose some personality.
Yeah,
because I remember OniNG posted like some of the enemies being changed and not having some of the cool like cryptic looks to them.
Yeah, and just like little things, like for example, like in the original one, in the original Demon Souls, like stuff that doesn't make sense. Like why did they change that? Like it seems like they completely like. It seems like almost an ego thing to like override the artistic intent of the original one, because like for example, there is like on the Tower of Latria, which is one of the levels on the original, there is as part of like the soundscape of the level, there is like creepy singing in the background, and they removed that. And it's just like generic creepy music now.
Yeah.
and also like for example like in the original, like some of the like cores and like poison spells, they have a sound effect that is like a synthesizer, but it is like pitch and like distorted in a way that it almost sounds like a human scream, and it feels super intentional. Like because it isn't like on every spell. It's specific only on like some of the cores spells, like the dark magic kind of stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
it feels like very intentional to have like that synthesizer that almost sounds like a human scream in there, and they also removed that. Uh, they change a lot of stuff. Like there is one enemy that was supposed to be like a human with like a creepy mask, but on the new one they replaced it with like a face like covered in blisters and stuff like that. And also they replaced the like architectural style. Like if you look at the original, it's very clear that like the architecture of 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 like the kingdom and like the castle and stuff, it's supposed to be like like it is very consistently like online with what you would expect from like 7th century like post-Roman Europe.
Hmm.
Like you see like a lot of like Rome isn't around anymore, but like there is still like a lot of Roman influence around. Um, and there is and, you, and they change it for like a generic like 12th century like Central European look.
Yeah.
Um, and like for example, like on the first level, like the Walletaya Castle, they added a lot of like extra like foliage and stuff. But the thing is, like, I feel like the original one was supposed to be like sterile, was supposed to like not have a lot
Okay,
of
yeah,
like life
I
in
get
it.
what you mean.
Because like
You're trading, yeah, you're trading substance for style,
because like the way
which is
because
show.
there wasn't like a big cataclysm. Like, there wasn't like
Hmm.
that would leave like a lot of like overgrown ruins or stuff like that. It was just like everyone died.
Yeah, I'll say like this is coming from me who likes because I've only seen a few clips. I haven't gotten to play it. Um, which is funny because like it was like the first PS5 exclusive that they were really trying to push, and I think it's only like $40, but I was still like, I'm good. Um, I'm usually a person who enjoys like very saturated and vibrant colored games. Souls games are just the exception to me in my head. Is like, shouldn't this be dreary? Isn't that the entire point of that delivery? So
Yeah, and also
yeah,
like
there's something to it.
I think like the entire thing, like the entire way to describe the Demon Souls remake is like technically, like from a technical standpoint, if we're going to go like entirely like academically, if we're going to like go like everything is fantastic. Like technologically, it is like their engine is incredible. Like the quality of the like visual assets and stuff like that, it is consistently super high.
Mm-hmm.
The arrangement and the production and the mixing of the soundtrack is super good. So in isolation by itself, like from a purely like technical standpoint, it is like excellent. But like they changed so much stuff from the original intent that like technically it is excellent, but artistically it is like completely like like it completely misses the point.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I'm
Like for
trying to
example,
think of other remakes that might be done.
for example, I feel uh like with um like the music again, like if you listen to the music in isolation, it is really really good. Uh, because like it is like the arrangements are really good. The production quality is like really good. The mixing is excellent. Uh, it is like a very well produced, very well made, very like well put together soundtrack. Uh, the problem is that like I feel like the original in but like in the new one in the remake the soundtrack is like like the big orchestra. They have like a full orchestra with like the singers and the brass and the strings and the
Yeah, which is
drums
like
and
more what we're used to now, I
yeah,
guess.
they have like the full
Yeah.
and it is very good at that, but like I feel like the original it was intentionally tiny.
Yeah.
I feel like in the original it was like because the original is like it's very clear that it was like it sounds like it was recorded with like maybe 10 musicians, like maybe like 4 people on trumpets, 2 people on violins, and like 3 singers.
Yeah.
Like the original sounds like that, and it feels like that is the point because it fits into like this vibe the original has of like like a world that is dead, like completely empty, completely dead. Like there was no there, again, like there was no like big catastrophic explosion, no big monster. Everyone just kind of died.
Well, it's gotta be cinematic, Candy. And I don't know. I agree with you. I think I like that reflection in music to be like everything is dwindling.
And I think like the best example is like the quote unquote final boss. And I said quote
Yeah,
unquote
I'm
because
aware of that at least.
there's technically like another final boss, like but like it's like a joke thing. But like
Yeah, it is.
well, not a joke, but like it is not a.
It's kind
an
of the
actual
drive
fight.
point of the drive home a certain aspect of that narrative.
Yeah, but like the actual the last actual fight on like the new one, it has like you know like a huge orchestra that is like a reprise of the theme of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the anime thing, but like the last fight is like a remix of like the opening theme.
Oh yeah, okay.
um with like a big orchestra and you have like the strings going to
Yeah, the anime music and the credits roll, and it's like, oh.
on the original one, the final boss was an organ and nothing else. There was no other instrument. It was just an organ. And like,
God, that'd be weird.
and like, that feels like that is an intentional choice. Uh, like that is an intentional choice. Like having just like one instrument, because they did have the capacity to record like actual like more instruments, right? They had so like just having like an organ as like the only instrument that entire fight, it feels like an intentional choice. And we know it's an intentional choice because they did it again.
Because it's not a spectacle. Yeah, it's not a spectacle. It's the whole point is
we know it's an intentional choice.
It's gotten to this.
We know it's an intentional choice because From Software did that again. That's the whole thing about like the final boss fight in Dark Souls 1.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Dark Souls 1 boss fight's at least a little more engaging. You can argue as to whether or not he's much, but like yeah.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine if they remade like the first Dark Souls and they replaced that song?
If they gave
like
Gwyn an anime theme, I'd be upset. Yeah, I'd be like, this is lame.
Yeah,
you could give Artorias an anime theme. I'd be like, yeah, that's about right. But like Gwyn, no.
Yeah. Like the piano is the point. The pling pling plon.
I'm trying to think of like, because I mean, that's a very interesting way you're going about it, is the artistic design, which is actually a very true thing. A lot of current things for higher fidelity now just kind of strip away and become too close to a very saturated thing that we've already been exposed to. Like for instance, one of my gripes nowadays is like survival horror being like over the shoulder now.
Yeah.
To the point where even Silent Hill is doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like you take a shot from Evil Within.
Like I know people liked it when it came out, but I actually did play it and I don't like it at all. Like the Silent Hill 2 remake, I think it's bad. Like it is bad.
Like take a shot from Evil Within 2, take a shot from like Resident Evil 4 or 2, and then take a shot from like Silent Hill 2 remake, and you're just like, okay, a lot of this is a little too same. Oh, and Dead Space remake, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
We're getting to the RE4 madness again.
Because like for a very long time, racing games have had this issue where like, because like it's like it's been like 15 years since graphics became good enough to get cars looking okay.
Yeah.
So if you go back to a racing game that came out in 2010, like it looks fine. Like it looks good enough. It looks realistic enough.
Mm-hmm.
So for the past like 15 years, racing games had this issue where like they all look the same.
And you're right.
The only way you can tell racing games apart is if you know the interface.
Yeah, because I remember when I was editing the video with Drive Club, I didn't label the name Drive Club, and my brain went, why does the new Gran Turismo look like it's shit when I played it? And then I took a second, I'm like, oh wait, this is Drive Club. I'm like, but then I had another second where like, why did I play Drive Club? And it was like, all right, it was free on PSN.
Although to be fair,
I heard it got better.
Yeah,
I added that in the video. I heard it got better.
To be fair,
I don't want to be too mean on it.
Dry Club does have, like, it is like, it's still like at the end just like a realistic looking game, like among a sea of realistic looking games, but like it does have like a little difference because they are doing like it has like I don't and I have actually like tried to find it, but I've never been able to like find it. They are doing something different with the way they handle colors.
Yeah, because like Drive Club is one of those. Drive Club is one of those games that just got delisted.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't have enough delisted games in my backlog to make a video about it, but I just made the joke of just like it was updated with death, and that's it. And Paragon too. I just like if I had not had those recordings, I would forget those games exist.
Yeah, I think actually like Paragon is back in a way because
back.
In a way in a weird way because when they decided to shut down Paragon, Epic actually kind of like released all of the assets for the game on the like Unreal Engine Asset Store for free.
Oh, that's neat.
So like a bunch of like fans like basically remade the game again.
That's cool. That does show like some love for the game and it having an impact. I find that sweet.
Apparently they have done more. Like they have like it has like more meaningful updates than like the original one.
Hey, power to them. That's madness. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other. Because remakes are just such a fascinating thing to me.
I find it funny because like usually when fans revive a game, what they're doing is like they're like having like private servers, right? They are thinking the original game and they have like private servers. No, in this case they like took the 3D the 3D assets, the like 3D models, and like made the game again, which is really funny.
Okay, so we talked about Demon's Souls, Oblivion.
One little I think. I do hate like remasters that exist just for the sake of like being there.
You mean just like a port, just a glorified port?
Yeah, like for example, like do you know, have you ever heard of like Kingdoms of Amalur?
I have. I gifted that game. I gifted that game.
Oh. He went away.
Hold on, my cat now wants to join the party because she's jealous.
Yay.
I'm trying to think. Do the Phoenix Wright games count as remasters? No, because they use vectorized art.
Yeah.
Which is just.
Okay, so here's the thing about Kingdoms of Amalur. It got a remaster.
Yeah, okay, talk about Kingdom.
It got a remaster, right? And the remaster looks identical. Like graphically, it is the same game.
That's funny.
But for some reason, it is, despite the fact that it looks the same, it is like visually completely identical. For some reason, it is like 3 times the size, and it runs worse.
You had one job. You had one job.
Yeah.
How do you manage to fuck that up?
Oh, and there was like there was like a couple of years ago. I actually don't even remember when this was, but like a few years ago they like remastered Assassin's Creed 3.
Did I end up playing that? I can't remember. No, wait, maybe I did.
But the thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
The thing is, like, they like retrofitted the game with the lighting system from the newer games. Well, they didn't, but like they did that, but they didn't actually change any of the assets.
Oh, so it looks worse.
So it looks worse because the newer lighting system is designed now on
around that, yeah.
Because like there is this thing called lighting. There is this thing called bidirectional reflectance functions. I'm going to get nerdy.
We're about to hold on. Everyone, get ready for her hyperfixations.
Yeah, there is
you know what you need, Candy? Wait, before you continue, you need to connect your Cintiq, and you need a whiteboard asset for this stream.
Yeah.
And a model of your character in a lab coat. You need this for this sort of segment.
Or like a teacher.
Or as a teacher? Well, no, you'd get too into the teacher thing. You know what? Okay, wait, side tangent. Because I don't trust you with your own character. I gifted her the OC character, and her innate response was, other than it being sweet, I think in one of the VCs she went, "Oh, the things I'll do with this," and I went, "I feel like I've just sold off like my daughter to a dowry." Like as soon as I was like, anyway, go on.
Yeah. Okay. So there is this thing called
Nick the pimp. No, I'm pimping out Candy to Candy? Question mark? Go ahead. She's my employee and my client. Hey, Daddy, can I have time for myself? It's like, yeah, you know what it is. Pay me, and then I give the money back to you. It's the most confusing transaction.
Yeah.
And then you just go to a room.
I give you money, you give me the money back, and I just go to a room.
You just go to a room. It's self-sustaining economy.
And I come back 30 minutes later. Hey, we need a new mattress.
I was gonna. Yeah, all right, but I'm gonna let you get to it. You mentioned Teacher Candy as a skin for your character. Lady of the Night Candy and Pimp Nick has to be another skin. Give me the puffiest coat, hat, Technicolor dream coat, like bring it.
Yeah, and you're going to get one of those like sunglasses with like
the canes. Oh yeah, grills on my teeth. All right, self-sustaining account. That was really clever. That was really clever, Killa. I like self-sustaining economy. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Candy. Talk about your whiteboard segment. We'll get that in the works.
Okay.
Mental note that you have to do the whiteboard segment from future.
Okay, there is this thing called a bidirectional reflectance function. A bidirectional reflectance function is basically a blanket name for an equation that is designed to model the way lighting bounces off a surface, right? And there has been like over the years, as you know, the research happens, hardware gets better, and like the things you can do with like, because something people don't like think about like when it comes to like newer like hardware is that like the code execution also gets faster, so you can have more complicated math in the shaders. So for example, like in the earliest like games, like on the N64 and the PS1, there was no like modeling of like the way light works. It was like a very simple color combiner. It literally just like took the light color, took the color of the surface and multiplied it, and that's all it did. But like as hardware got better and like the capabilities of like executing shaders and research happens, like more and more like lighting models got like developed, and by the time we get to like the 2010s and like the PS3 and the Xbox 360, the standard was a thing called the Blink Fong model. And the thing about the Blink Fong model is that it was not photorealistic. It was not physically accurate. Because it was just an approximation, right? It was like trying to get it as fast as you can. Like try to get the code to run as fast as you can. So it was just like an approximation. And that is the lighting model, the original, pretty much all the Assassin's Creed games before Unity use. Including 3. But then in 2012, Pixar published this little paper detailing the new like lighting model they had, and this one was physically accurate. It like properly models stuff like energy conservation and like, you know, like different like properties of like materials, like, you know, how like the different way like metals and like non-metals like reflect light, and like pearlescence and iridescence and like translucency and all that stuff. It like modeled all of that stuff, and it had like a proper like because one thing is like one of the funniest things it changed is that before that there was no way to ensure, because in the real world, if you shine a light into a surface, it doesn't matter how bright the light or the surface are, the light that is bouncing from the surface is less intense than the light that is coming in, right? Like you always lose a degree of energy when the light bounces,
Mm-hmm.
and every time it bounces, it like gets like smaller and smaller and smaller. So like one thing I would like the lighting equations is that like if you want it to be physically accurate, you have to model it in a way that the result is never one or higher than one. Like the result of the math you are doing always needs to be lower than one.
Okay.
Because otherwise it is not physically accurate, and that was one of the first
Well, is it like binary where it has to be 0 or 1, or does
no,
it
no, it
can
has to
negative values also?
it has to be it has to be between 0 and 0.99.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. So within a range, all right, positive.
Um, and that was one of the big things they changed on this Pixar paper, is that they actually figured out a way to to like get that, and they figured out a way to like change the way, like, you know, because like metals have a different way of reflecting light because they are conductive, so they have a different way of reflecting light because light is energy. And when you think about like conductivity, you think about electricity, but it applies to like all sorts of energy. um
Mm-hmm.
and when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, a bunch of developers started like using the extra grunt of the hardware to adapt that new lighting model into their engines. It like they simplified it and they removed stuff and they changed stuff around to like fit in their workflows better. But the point is that they change stuff. And like all of the, so like if you look at like games around like 2013, if you look at games sorry, if you look at games around like 2013, 2014, you are going to realize that between like those years, like between 2013 and 2014, there is like a huge change on the way like stuff like, for example, like metals look.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because of that, like because around that time everyone started to move to like that new lighting model. And there is a problem, and there is a reason I mentioned the fact that you have to make sure that your math always comes down to like less than one. And that is not something that like, in order to like work on that lighting model, they also had to change the way they like handle like intensity and color of lights. uh because before that you could just have like arbitrary units for like the intensity and the color of light. When they started changing to like this new lighting model, they actually had to start like changing their engines to like have like physically accurate lighting units. So instead of just having like a random like arbitrary unit for like light intensity, you have to have like actual like lumens and like candelas and like lux per square meter. And instead of just having like a color picker for the light, you have to have like light temperature, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens if you take that lighting system with like physically accurate like lighting units, with like candelas and like lumens and like light temperature, and you put it on a bunch of shaders and like textures and assets that were not designed around that lighting system? What happens is that everything gets blown out to white.
Mm-hmm.
Everything flips to white because your lighting system is designed around your lighting system is designed around like a reflection functions that always returns a number lower than one. But the older shaders and the older textures were built around a lighting system that can return a number higher than one. So if you
Oh
combine those
yeah.
things, what happens is that everything gets blown to white. Everything becomes white. Everything clips. And everything gets super desaturated and super blown out.
Well, I'm gonna say like some of the remaster that I'm looking at, you get some color, but the problem is you're getting a lot of god rays too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened is like the Assassin's Creed remaster, the Assassin's Creed
Oh
3
yeah.
remaster, it is like the same game, but like, just like way more like washed out and blown out. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'll say, like, as I'm looking at the clip, it looks like in the Assassin's Creed universe, the Earth is now nominally closer to the sun.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is very, very bright. Um, and you know, like it didn't hurt me because I never liked Assassin's Creed, so that didn't hurt me. But like it is like baffling that they decided to do that.
Oh no, you know what, Candy? You're totally right on the whites. It's the most pronounced when you get to the main characters who are in white. Like
Yeah,
there's just a shot of like Desmond walking in the cave, and it looks better on the left because of the contrast and the actual shadows, whereas he is just glowing like a. This is weird.
yeah,
Hold on, I'm gonna link it. Well, I'm just gonna link the picture. Like it is just blown up.
yeah. It like
Yeah.
and like also like the color of like the ground and the rocks, like everything is just like way more like closer to clipping to the
He's
white.
inside a cave and it's glowing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
also like
bad.
if you look at like the glow stick, and like it's also like in the
Oh
left is
yeah,
actually
yeah,
green.
it's dying.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
no, this
happened.
is a very good. Yeah, okay. I don't
Um,
even remember if I played this or the original on PC.
the original is funny because for some reason like newer like I did is like such a baffling glitch. It is such a baffling glitch in the original. Like if you have like a newer GPU, it doesn't matter the manufacturer. If you have like a newer GPU with like newer drivers, the camera just goes insane. The camera just starts vibrating.
I think I had that with Liberations. I don't remember having that with 3, so I might have just played 3 on. No, I think I played it on maybe PS4. I don't know. I can't remember for the fucking life of me.
Yeah. Speaking of that, speaking of like weird glitches, because like you know like the big topic of like the week is like the Oblivion remake, and we went to like into like the remake stuff. But I also wanted to ask you
Yeah.
like do you have like any like have you ever actually played like any of the Elder Scrolls games to like an extensive degree?
No. No, absolutely not. They're not like I respect their legacy, the way they kind of like approach like fantasy and like it's scratching an itch for other people. It's just there's just you know the brain chemistry thing I mentioned before. It's just that I don't. It could be
Yeah,
the fact that it's first person within that and
yeah.
that operating. But the only Elder Scrolls I played was Skyrim because that was the one that was like being thrown around as a gift by people the most. And then I think I played 10 minutes and I killed the entire first village out of the cave, and then I just died in a river.
Yeah.
And
Um.
that was my run.
Yeah.
You can play them third person. Okay,
Yeah, but
I don't know. There's
I'm
just
going to say
nothing.
like as far as like playing in third person, Skyrim online and the Oblivion remake are the only ones you can play in third person, because
Okay.
like on Morrowind and on the original Oblivion, you technically can switch to third person, uh, but it isn't like over the shoulder or anything like that. It is like straight behind the character, and there is no like cursor or
Yeah.
anything like that, so you cannot aim either.
Okay.
So it is very hard to play.
I'm trying to think of the situation where it's like I'm already not necessarily that big on first person games. It's just a perspective I don't particularly find as intriguing for me for playing, cuz I kind of like either the god's eye view or just having that much information when I'm doing the combat.
I know the real reason is because you want to
Uh
look at the bot.
no, I don't care. Well, okay, if I was playing Stellar Blade, I'd care, but then I'd never get any progress done. I just you'd see on my game profile 20 hours played. Nick, how far did you get? Wait, oh, what?
20 hours, no achievements.
Then 20 hours, no achievements. Peculiar. Um, and it's also just like you and I have you can progress in Stellar Blade, exactly. It's
Is it
also the
that you
fact
have
that
it
like
on PC in like
between
2 months?
I thought it was already on PC. I didn't know it was on it wasn't on PC. Um it's also just the fact that between the two of us, like we've mentioned it, you're very big on like medieval and old time fantasy. It takes a bit for it needs a gimmick for me to be as invested. Usually I'm more invested in urban fantasy, like concurrent time or a little
Yeah.
like that. Not necessarily like cyberpunk. Like I just like like powers in the city and stuff like that because I find it a very interesting mix of architecture and modernity
Yeah.
versus that fantasy element.
Did you
Well,
ever
I
play The
respect
Secret
kind of
World
super.
when that was a thing?
Then again, I play Final Fantasy. Secret Wars? Oh, Secret Wars? You mean the tactics games?
No, Secret World, the MMO. Did you ever play that when that was a thing?
No, I rarely ever played MMOs.
Because it is like that. It is like urban fantasy, and like you have like a bunch of factions with like
Yeah.
different like kinds of like magic and like powers and stuff like that. And it was
Like
fun.
that's pretty
It was
cool.
fun, but like like it like the death rattles of an MMO. Eventually, it got like over
Yeah.
monetized, and it kind of lost its way. And it got like super power creepy.
Yeah. Like I'd say like a good example in the tone setting of urban fantasy that I can think of is like something like Vampire the Masquerade. Even though
Yeah.
the game's broken. But it's like within that. Oh, first time chat. Destiny Saber. Welcome
Hey.
to the
Yeah,
stream.
this is first time chat, but they are in the Discord, so I know them. Hello.
Oh, that's cool.
Welcome.
But like yeah, when it's that kind of is what I mean when it comes to urban fantasy and just like the mix of it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just because city landscapes are always my favorite. I know people like talk about how they're so uniform, but they seem boring. But it's just like it's just concrete jungle.
Yeah.
It's very cool to me in my brain.
No, and I
City
get that.
nightscapes.
I do like the problem is that I feel like a lot of urban fantasy is like too juvenile. It is like very clearly like aimed at like teenagers.
Yeah, I'll say it gets there. Cause like when DMC started including some of the city maps in 5, it was a very nice look. Even DMC reboot its level design when there was like architecture there was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Also, because I just also like fighting games, so seeing a lot on the eye-catching thing of like the background is pretty fun too.
Yeah.
And also, I like Yakuza, so even though that's not really well, you can argue it's fantasy considering the crap that Kiryu pulls, but yeah, like I just like that. I will admit, like there are some things, like like the old Final Fantasies, like yeah, I'll like old fantasy, but I just never got pulled into Elder Scrolls that much.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, before like yesterday and like stuff like that, I was like doing some research. I was like maybe like Oblivion related topics we could talk about, and I found like the funniest thing. And like
What is it?
Bethesda has always been, and like like the segue for this was like funny glitches.
Okay, yeah.
Because Bethesda has always been
That's
Bethesda.
perfect. Nick needs a new chair. No, I was moving my mic stand. I don't know why it's squeaking. I think it's the spring.
That sounds like my bag.
Yeah. Yeah, when I do the anyway. I'm sorry. Don't, honey, don't tell the kids. Not in front of the kids.
Never like proof that Bethesda has always been Bethesda.
That's my I sound like Crusted Clown. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so you know how we have talked about like the difference between an old game that is aged but good and an old game that was a good idea but isn't like actually a good game.
Okay, so I do know what you're saying on paper. Could you give some examples? So for the audience too. Something empirical,
Okay, so I would say like actually like like throwing it out. Actually, I think a very good example is like Age of Empires. If you ever played like one of them.
No, but yeah, go on. No,
I'm going to say like the first Age of Empires is not a great game. It is a good idea, but it's not a great game.
Yeah, concept but execution. All right.
Because like you have like a lot of like quality of life stuff that is missing, and the AI cheats like nothing else. And it is like a general like clunkiness. Like it isn't like actually that fun to go back to play that game. Age of Empires 2, on the other hand, it is like honestly just like still like a fantastic game. It is aged because it came out in like I don't remember if it was 1999 or 2000. So obviously it is aged, but it is like still like a really good game. But like also like I feel like the Elder Scrolls is like another great example of that. Because like you have like the 3D ones, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, but you also have like 2 games before that. That people usually don't talk about unless they are like very hardcore fans. And those are like Arena and Daggerfall.
Okay.
And Daggerfall is like Arena is the first one, Daggerfall is the second, because like Skyrim is the fifth one, like Oblivion is the fourth one, Morrowind is the third one, and then there are the 2 older ones.
Yeah.
Daggerfall is the second one, Arena is the first one. And Daggerfall is like, it is super clunky, it is super aged. Because it is what that game is older than Windows. Like it actually came out before Windows was a thing.
Yeah, true.
It was an MS-DOS game, like back when you had to like use the computer with like a command line. So it is like, it is also one of those games that like if you don't read the manual, you are going to like softlock yourself before you even start. Because there is basically no tutorial and no explanation for like any of the stuff on the character creation screen does. And if you don't, and if you like, and it is absolutely 100% possible to fuck yourself over and make a character that is not viable.
Oh, just like soft lock yourself. Oh, not soft lock, but just like hard lock yourself out because of the build.
Yeah.
So
you need to read the manual.
Okay, that's interesting.
You need to read, and like that's the thing.
That's a pretty funny thing I haven't heard in a while. Like needing to read the manual for a game. That takes me back.
But the thing is, like that manual is like an actual book. It is 200 pages, and you need to read all of it.
Oh, jeez.
Because there is important information all over the manual, so you need to read all
of it. Because like
play the game.
with a good generation of like later manuals before it just became like the lazy like code in the back, which is a heartbreaking thing. It's just like it would usually be like sort of flavor text, lore, and then the actual gameplays and stuff, and maybe some bonus art. But it essentially being the Bible for a game is very interesting.
Yeah.
Of how to operate.
And it goes like, because like okay, so like in the character creation, you pick a race, then you have to like make your class. You don't pick a class, you make a class. So you have to pick like major skills, minor skills, and support skills, and you have to like also assign like your stats, and then you have to assign like strengths or weaknesses, and you have to assign like affinities, and you have to assign like there is the character creation on Daggerfall is like 10 screens. Hey Gons.
Hey Gons.
And on every single one of those screens, there is an important choice that can completely fuck you if you pick something that is like wrong. So like you need to read the manual to know like what like the specific like stat bonuses that every race has, like what each attribute.
That's intense.
What each attribute controls, what the bonuses do, what the weaknesses do, like the percentages of like the scaling.
Yeah, I feel like with video games nowadays though, like the concept of hard and soft locking now is just so minimal.
Yeah.
So hearing it again is just so wild to this degree.
Yeah, like for example, like one thing,
because this is entirely based off of player information. Like that's wild.
Yeah. For example, like in one of the last screens of the character creation screen, what you can do is you can like choose like weak strengths or weaknesses. So like you can pick like extra resistance to magic, or like an extra skill with like a specific kind of weapon, stuff like that. What the thing is, like those strengths and those weaknesses, they control like the amount of experience you get.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give yourself a lot of like strengths, the amount of experience you gain goes back so low that it becomes almost impossible to level up to like higher than like level 5, because you will need to grind a lot. Because it can actually go like, I think as low as like 0.05% of like experience gained, depending on like how many like boons you give yourself. So you have to balance them out.
Yeah.
So you have to balance them out. If you give yourself like a strength, you have to give yourself a weakness, because they have like values assigned. And if you give yourself like a strength and then you give yourself like a weakness with the same value, you return to like neutral. So you have to balance them out. You have to think about like your build, and think about like what is going to be beneficial, what is going to like what can I deal with.
That's a
and you have
lot
to
of min-maxing. That's an
yeah
RPG person's dream, yeah.
yeah like that because like that game really is like a tabletop game on the because like that was like what RPGs were back in the day. They were tabletop games.
Yeah.
They were tabletop games, but the game was the computer. Like that was what RPGs
Yeah,
were
but
back in
now
the
it's
day.
now it's like the whole CRPG thing, right?
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, okay.
Also, like Daggerfall is like a full as simulation, like a full as like life simulation. Um, so for example, like you know how like nowadays, like in games with like inventory systems, like there is some stuff that for convenience sake doesn't have like weight or doesn't take space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like money doesn't
Like
take
I think
space, like ammo doesn't take space, like usually.
yeah. Usually
Um,
it's like depending on the game, it's just like sometimes it's just the weight of the equipment you have currently equipped
yeah.
and then
No, on Daggerfall,
like you
everything.
don't care.
What's going on, Guns? Why are you saying my name? Did I do something? Oh yeah,
Speechcraft level.
speech crab leveling. Yeah. Oh. Uh, the thing is like okay, so like one of the things is like in Daggerfall, everything has weight.
Yeah.
Everything. So like every note you pick up, like every arrow you have, if you have like a range build, every piece of armor, every piece of equipment, the gold you are carrying, everything has weight. So for example, if you're like grinding dungeons for money, you need to hire a like a like chariot or like a wagon. You need to
Hmm.
rent a wagon and take it to the entrance of the dungeon
That's that's so funny.
because
So
because there is legitimately like you might legitimately have too much fucking money because gold actually has weight.
just walking around and just like I can't haul all my fat gold in my pockets. And meanwhile, this guy with the cart, hey yo, I can help you.
I mean, you can buy stuff. You like eventually when you have enough money, you can start buying stuff. You can buy like wagons. You can buy houses. You can buy horses. You can buy boats. And you can
So
actually like
wow.
furnish the boats. Like when you buy a boat, you can actually like buy
So do you at
furniture.
least have a banking system that you could put the gold into to like
And I'm going to
alleviate?
get to that.
Yeah,
And I'm going
okay.
to get to that.
Oh no, this
Uh,
is a problem when she says she's gonna get into that. All right.
yeah, and the thing when you buy a boat, you can actually just like furnish it like a house and live on the boat. It's great.
That's cool. That's actually cool. Yeah, all right.
Uh, but you can also use it for like fast traveling and stuff like that. Uh, okay, so the banking system. There is a banking system. Um, there is a banking system, and it is very complex. There is like interest rates. There is like fees for like deposits and like withdrawals. You can so but the thing is like it isn't like magically connected. So if you want to like move your money from one bank to another, you have to either take all the money out and like take it to the other bank in like a wagon, or
Oh
get
my
like a note
god.
or get like a note of credit. And like the thing is like getting notes of credit has like a fee depending on the amount of you are getting as the note of credit. So you have to like balance that out. Like, is it cheaper to get a wagon or is it cheaper to get the note of credit? Like because like what notes of credit are like a single slip of paper, so you know they have a weight, but it's like negligible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take so it's basically just like a check, I guess. And you can take it like and then you
I'm
can take
too
that
rich on this bitch of an earth.
and then you can
It's
take it
just the problem.
and then you can take that note of credit to like the other bank and you can deposit it there. So now your money is on that other bank. Um, and you can actually like take out loans. Uh, and those loans have like interest that like accrue in real time as you play the game.
Can you at
Uh,
least buy the bank and profit off of everyone else's suffering? That's an interesting question.
I don't think you can buy the bank, but I think you can buy stores or like at least invest into
Oh,
stores.
okay. And does that go to your bank?
Yes,
Or do you have to
but
like
only on the
go and
city.
manually collect? Okay.
Uh,
What a mysterious game.
yeah, like so like one thing you can do is like something you see like speedrunners do, for example, is because they know they are going to finish the game before the interest like kick in. They just take like the highest loan they can on the bank.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Uh
Quick, I have too much money.
yeah.
Uh,
And like okay, so like Daggerfall technically is an open world game, right? Technically it is an open world game, but it is not designed around the idea of you having of you traveling around like on foot or like on horse, because it is like, because like on like open world games, like the sizes are truncated to like have like something that is like in like you can actually like move around in like a realistic time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, Skyrim is supposed to be like a whole ass country, but like the actual map in the game is like 60 kilometers squared. You know, Daggerfall is
Yeah.
not like that. Daggerfall is like real size, real scale. It's around the same size as like actual real life Great Britain. And you're slow as fuck. So it is like completely unrealistic, the idea of like walking from one city to another. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. And the game wasn't designed around that. The game was actually designed around fast travel. Uh the game was actually designed around fast travel. So like what you do is like you go to the map and you click on like where you want to go, and the game gives you like a bunch of options. So it tells you, do you want to go by that like horse? Do you want to hire a car, a wagon? Do you want to go like fast? Do you want to go slow? And that determines like what are the chances of having an accident, you know, or like getting
Mm-hmm.
robbed away. How many days is it going to take? And the game was designed to like be played like that. Like it is technically an open world, but like just going from one city to another is going to take you like several real-time hours. So you are supposed to use fast travel, because fast traveling by horse is like always free or like super cheap, I think. So you are never like completely locked down. But if you're traveling by horse, you cannot take a lot of stuff because there is a weight limit, and you have to like keep that in mind. You can carry more stuff if you have like the wagons and stuff like that. And the fact that you can actually like decide how fast you are going to travel, uh, and like balance that out with like the chance of like having an accident or getting robbed, actually has also a mechanic, because there are several points in both in like the main story and on side quest where you get put into like a timer.
Mm-hmm.
So when the game tells you need to meet this person on this city in 7 days, the game means 7 days. If you go too
Oh
early,
my
they are not
god.
there, and you have to wait. And if you go too late, they left, and you cannot complete that quest anymore.
That's so stupid.
And the thing is, like,
That's so fucking.
that happens several times in the main quest. So you can actually soft talk yourself in the main quest by being too slow.
Oh my god.
Like Daggerfall is a full-on simulation, and it is like
Oh
very
my.
hardcore. It is very
Oh
clunky,
my
but it is great.
god.
Like when you actually get into it, it is so much fun.
No, this sounds like a min-maxer's dream. Like as much as I go, oh my god, it's like the level of detail on that is insane. This is just reminding me of that one anime VR MMO where this guy plays like the most quote unquote realistic MMO, and then he's like, I hate all of this. It's too realistic. Where's the video game aspect? And it's just like, too bad. You gotta realistically do all this stuff as if it were like if it was just reality, and you get good.
No, but like I think like the thing about like Daggerfall is also like when you start to get to like the lighter half of the game, you have so much money and so much power that it becomes like really fun to just like buy stuff and like, hey, and you can just fuck around, like, hey, I have a boat now. I'm going to fuck around in my boat.
I live on this boat now.
Yeah, I live in this boat now. It is my boat.
It's my boat. I'm
Um,
trying to think of, cause like we're talking about like the flawed game that was good on paper
yeah.
versus a dated game that's good.
No, okay, so Daggerfall is the latest game that is good.
No, I know that. Um, dated as in like some of the
Yeah,
conventions to which it goes to and stuff like that. But it's like I'm trying to think of more on this.
yeah.
Because
Arena,
what is the criteria we use for dated?
like I don't know, because I feel like they like I usually go with stuff like like quality of life or like difficulty, stuff like that.
Quality of life or difficulty? Okay, quality of life. I'm trying to think of quality of life. Dated but good. Because you can just say, because I feel like dated but good shouldn't be mixed up with timeless,
Yeah.
right? Because, like, you can say almost most old JRPGs, since they're very simplistic in their design, like Pokemon included, relatively like timeless,
Oh,
right? But it's
yeah, but
like,
like there are exceptions to that.
there
Like
still
for
are.
example, on the original, like on like I think like the first 2 or 3 Dragon Quest games, they don't have like an interaction button. So if you want to pick something off the,
Mm.
so for example, if you want to pick like loot off the floor, you have to go into a menu, select the pick up option, then go to the tile you want to
Okay,
pick it
yeah.
up. And if you want to talk to someone, you have to go to a menu, select the talk option, and then go to the person. I mean, like they are so clunky.
The problem is, like, some of the game. Maybe it's just like the recency thing where I'm just remembering stuff I recently played. I suppose, like, when the series goes on with the amount of JRPGs, Yakuza 7 is going to look flawed because its quality of life was a little annoying in some places, and also some of the moves just didn't matter. Like, the upgraded moves were actually genuinely worse than the older moves.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, no, this is tough. It's tough in my head. Quality of life is something I always appreciate, but again, quality of life is something that I think a lot of people who play games just take for granted.
Yeah.
It's like that thing that you don't notice until you haven't had it and then you get it in a series. Um, I'd say Yakuza Zero's gotten to the point of it's dated. Like, I hate its fast travel system. I think that kneecaps it pretty badly in some places.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, like it is one of those things that you kind of think of it on the spot, but at some point you're going to play a
yeah.
game and you are going to go, oh,
Yeah, like I'd go so far to say, well, you know what, the early battle networks were pretty flawed, but it's like you could say like some of those games are like timeless, or I suppose like this is
uh,
tough. Hmm.
okay. So Daggerfall, which is the Elder Scrolls 2, is the one that is dated but good. Arena is the
Yeah,
one that is like
yeah.
a good idea, but like it is not good.
No, yeah, no, that was
uh,
evidently clear because you sounded passionate at least with the latter. So.
um, because Arena wasn't even supposed to be an RPG, like at the beginning.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be like a first-person gladiator simulator, and that is actually the reason it is called Arena. Uh, like they found a way to like retrofit that name into the lore, but like the reason is because they had a lot of like marketing material already printed with the name Arena on it.
Well,
Uh,
arena's gotten to the point where it's like it's a nothing word now
yeah.
on video games. Yeah.
So what happened is that they started like making like a first person like gladiator combat simulator. It was very simple, level based, like everything like driven by menus. You would get into like combat and like fight, and you would like get some money and like buy upgrades, stuff like that. Like like a very simple game.
Hmm.
Um, but they started like adding side quests and stuff like that, and they started like having a lot of fun with that. So like they decided to like extend it into like an actual RPG. Like, but the thing is like it was relatively late into development. Again, they already had like marketing material printed. So it was relatively late into development, and so they didn't have a lot of time. They didn't have like necessarily the technology because the engine wasn't initially meant to do that. um, and also like when they started like filling it out, the story and like the world, it was literally just like their D&D campaign they had going in the office. Uh, so yeah, it is an interesting game, and there are a lot of like cool ideas, but it's also like very clear that like the actual RPG part was made in like 6 months. Um, and like again, like going back to like the idea of like funny glitches. Like my favorite example of that is the way the speedrun of this game works. Because if you look at like for example a speedrun of Morrowind, the thing about Morrowind is that the final boss is always like in the world where there is like a magical barrier preventing you from getting to that part of the world until you complete like a few quests.
Yeah.
Uh, but the thing is like if you buy like the correct combination of spells, you can literally just catapult yourself to that part of the game and kill the final boss.
Okay.
So
Speedrunner's dream. All right.
so Morrowind speedruns at this point are like 2 minutes, like literal 2 minutes.
That's pretty great.
uh, Oblivion and Skyrim are a little bit more complicated because they actually have to like go and complete a bunch of like quest flags. So like they are mostly about like movement and getting out of bounds and like avoiding combat because you don't want to like spend time leveling up, right?
Hmm.
The speedrunner arena is going into the same dungeon 18 times and picking up the same item 18 times, and that beats the game. Because because the way the game is like set up, there are like your main quest is you have to get like seven parts of like a magical item, combine the item and use that to kill the final boss, right?
Hmm.
Pretty simple setup. But the thing, so what happens is that you go to like one of the provinces of the continent, you talk to someone, they give you a location to, they tell you I don't know where the staff is, but maybe I know where you can find a map that tells you where the staff is. So you go to a dungeon, you get the map. The map tells you where the dungeon, where the part of the staff is. So you go to the dungeon, you get the part of the staff, and then you go to a different province. And that is like the structure of the game. You go to and it's the same thing on like every province. You go to a province, you get a map, you get a map in a dungeon, and that gets you to like a different dungeon that has the actual thing you're looking for. Uh, but the thing is, like, for some reason, one of the maps, which is also like one of the first ones you can get, they it is glitched, so it doesn't disappear. It respawns when you go back into the dungeon. So like if you exit the dungeon and you come back in again, it respawns. Uh, and for some reason, like instead of having like a specific flag attached to every like piece of the thing you are trying to like get, every time you get like any of them, it just like adds +1 to the flag.
What?
So the game is just checking that you have like completed that like 17 times this thing instead of like checking if you had a specific amount of items. It just checks that this flag has been activated 17 times. So because this map doesn't respawn, you can literally get to that, like exit the tutorial, get a few spells, and then you can go into the dungeon, get the map, exit, talk to someone, go back into the dungeon again, get the map, and the game keeps thinking that you're actually advancing the quest and like getting all the parts of the stuff you need to get. So you do this
That's
17
pretty funny.
times. You do this 17 times. You don't fight anything, you don't go anywhere, you just go back in and out of this dungeon 17 times. And then it gets better. Because then the game thinks you have like all the 7 pieces of the stuff and you are ready to fight a final boss. So you get like a cutscene when you're having a dream and the final boss is like taunting you. So now you go find your final boss, right? Well,
Mhm.
no, because for some reason the final boss is also attached to that flag. So if you go back in another time and get the map again, it kills the final boss. And the credits roll.
I'm just too good.
So like the speedrun of this game is like very boring to watch, but conceptually very funny.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty funny.
Conceptually, it is really funny because you're literally just going to like, I don't know, like imagine if I don't know, you're playing like a Zelda game and you go to the first dungeon, and for some reason every time you leave the first dungeon, the boss key appears again, and every time you pick it, the game just thinks you are advancing the story. So you have to
Oh
just
yeah.
go back in and pick the same king like 20 times, and the last time you do it, Ganondorf dies by himself and the game ends. Like it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Just
So
Ganondorf waiting in his chair and he's like, I feel a disturbance. Bleh.
so I guess the the moral of the story is that Bethesda has always been Bethesda.
Yeah.
Bethesda has always
I'm
been
just trying to.
Bethesda. I also really like the story of Daggerfall, or at least the
Mhm.
setup, because it gets more complicated than that. Uh, it gets more complicated than that as the game goes on. Uh, but the setup of Daggerfall is like really funny because like it starts with like the Emperor summons you like on the dead of night, to like a secret chamber because it has a special mission for you. And
Okay.
it is like super serious. It's like this is like the 90s on PC, the early 90s on PC. So
Yeah.
of course you have like a live action cutscene that is super compressed with like super like cheesy like Spirit Halloween costumes and shit.
Yeah, and the voice acting is probably there is voice acting, right?
Yeah, but only in that cutscene.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay.
Um, because it is live action.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so you're going to, so the setup is that the Emperor summons you at the dead of night. You know, like to a secret chamber because he has a special mission for you. So you go in and he tells you, this is something I can trust only to you, my most trusted, like my most trusted warrior, my most trusted spy. Uh, and then he goes like, okay, so what happened is a few months ago I sent like a very thirsty letter to like the Queen of Daggerfall,
Oh my god, you told me this premise. I remember this. Yeah, keep going.
and she hasn't responded. So maybe if you could like travel to Daggerfall and get the letter before like anyone else gets it, that would be really cool.
Oh, that's really funny. That's really funny.
That would be
That's like the
really
sitcom
cool.
version of like, yo, dude, I sent a thirsty text to like the wrong person. Could you grab their phone and delete it? You got it, boss.
Yeah. And like also and then when you're going to leave, he tells you, oh, also like the king of Daggerfall died in battle like a month ago, and his ghost is hunting the kingdom. So if you can deal with that, like while you're doing the letter thing, that would also be really cool.
Yeah,
But
that'd be
remember
really
the letter.
cool.
Like that is your priority. The letter
Remember
is the
that.
priority.
I don't need her. I don't need her saying. I was writing out my. I was scrolling. I got the scroll out. I was writing out my drunk thoughts. Those were my real thoughts.
Yeah.
You can't be thinking that.
Yeah. And also like yeah, the story gets a lot more complicated. Uh because it turns out the reason the king is like, for example, because you do get the letter, like the game actually forgets about the letter and you get it eventually. But like that is not the main thing. You just get it like incidentally. Like someone you
Yeah.
like someone you find has the letter. It turns out the king is the ghost of the king is like running around screaming vengeance, and this is really funny. Like it's actually like a really fun aspect of the game, and that is like there is a city that you cannot be around when it's nighttime. You can be inside of the city, but if you are outside of the city when it gets like nighttime, and there is like again a specific city. If you're inside the city, you're fine. But if you're like around the walls of the city on the outside when it is nighttime, the ghost of the king shows up and kills you.
That's rad as hell. That's scary too.
Yeah.
That would
Uh,
terrify me as a kid. That's rad.
yeah, but like there turns out the reason the king is hunting the land is because he was betrayed by the person who is the new king. So you have to deal with
Okay.
that. And also you find out that like part of the thing is like there is like they are trying to get like a magic thing that is going to allow them to like control a giant mech, because there are mechs on the Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
That there is going to allow, they are trying to find a magical item that is going to allow them to control a giant magical mech that the first emperor used to conquer the land. Because like turns out the first emperor used a giant mech to conquer the continent, and it is just like kind of buried somewhere, and you need like a magical item to get it back again. So you have to like stop that because that's not like great.
That's pretty rad. That's a really cool description of it. I'm still like reeling over the. Cause that Ghost King thing is exactly what would terrify me for years as a kid. Like if I ever encountered that, that would scare me shitless.
Yeah, and like that is, and like again, like this is the early 90s on PC. So when you die, you get like a cutscene of your own like funeral.
Yeah. Cause I don't know, there's something so much more fun of like a completely avoidable horror that's personalized to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and like at night, every now and then you can just hear like someone like screaming vengeance.
But can you eventually like kill him or like make him pass on?
Yeah,
Or...
you exorcise him. You
Oh,
finish
okay,
his
that's
business
cool.
and he goes away.
Okay, that's cool.
You
Oh,
finish
by
his
killing
business
the
by killing
king?
a motherfucker. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And actually, the plot of Morrowind is also about the mechs too. Because the thing is like the main villain of Morrowind is trying to make like a new mech using the heart of a dead god as like the power source.
Yeah, that sounds like a really smart idea that you should totally do.
So what you do is you get like so what you need to do is you need to get like a special hammer and like use that to like destroy the heart of the god.
That's rad.
And also there's like vampires and like a plague. Like because like the thing is like Morrowind has like five different plots that eventually like convert into like a single plot. So like for the first like 50 hours of the game, you have no idea what you're doing. And then you start like getting into like the finishing the ending of like all the different like stories that are going on, and you realize that everything is connected, and it goes like, oh.
This reminded me of two different games that now follow the whole it's dated but good. Because killing the heart of the mech reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
And then the vampires is like I even mentioned is like Vampire the Masquerade. Like that's a dated game, but it's good. Like it's broken as hell near the end.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it is really good. I have played it. It's really, really fun.
I'm trying to think of games where it's like the concept was good, but the execution was bad. You know what?
Hmm.
Death's Gambit. I'd say Death's Gambit.
You have talked about that. I never did play it because it was like a
Matt
PS5
Mercer
exclusive for
carries
a
the
while.
entire. Yeah, no, Matt Mercer carries the entire interest of that because his portrayal of death is wonderful.
I don't know. I
Because
feel
he,
like
yeah,
I feel like most games. I feel like you can make an argument for like most bad games. I mean, like something that could like be good in like a different circumstance, like
yeah.
different hands.
Well, I think it's because like just with Death's Gambit, the problem is you decided to make a 2D Souls-like with a stamina bar, with variable height jump, like variable jump height, which is just not a good idea. So
Yeah.
like, because like with 3D positioning, the amount of information you have versus the stamina bar, like yeah, okay. But with like jump situation, there's just more. I feel like there's just more cases of error somehow, and
Yeah.
screwing it up because you don't have as many options. But yeah, Matt Mercer is just like he's a superb. Again, he carries the whole thing. So instead of like regular Dark Souls, you become an emissary of death because the land has been overridden by immortals. And they have like this immortal, like this phylactery that's this giant phylactery that keeps on respawning them. And Death wants to collect his souls because he goes like, Death isn't good or evil, it's a matter of principle.
Yeah.
But like, he's also kind of just funny with your main character because like he will actually, you know how you have your restore points in like Souls games, you have your bonfires and stuff. He will smack talk you the more times you die. So, and some of them aren't just like. Some of them aren't just like, oh, you suck, haha. One is just like, I think literally one is him being jokingly flirtatious. So you die and come to the restore point, and then he's just like, if you keep coming to visit me like this, people will start talking. And like Soren's just like, I'm sure the dead love gossip. You'd be surprised.
I mean, they probably do. What else are they going to fucking do for eternity?
Yeah, but there's also just like more stuff where you get trapped in a dungeon, and literally the only escape is if you manually commit suicide. But if you don't, you have to keep on calling Death, who comes on the other side of the bars, and it's like, I have no physical form that can help you out of this. And then he literally, your character just becomes existential. And he's like, Death, what is the point of life? Me. Now find a way out of this cell. And then he just leaves.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him a lot. Matt Mercer does a really good job in that game, and some of its writing is fantastic, but like. And the premise just kind of runs with Souls, but it's like somehow you executing it in a 2D way in a Metroidvania Souls-like fashion and kind of not correctly adding the right ingredients is just a miss. And it also came around the time of Dead Cells, which was not helping it in any way, because Dead Cells was just like a better Metroidvania, even though it was a roguelike, which isn't necessarily the fairest comparison. But I think Hollow Knight was actually around then too. So Death's Gambit wasn't winning any favors. You there, Candy?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think.
Who?
Because I think I
Who
was
dares
confusing that game
DM
with, like,
me?
another game
Oh,
that you have also talked about, like being an interesting idea that like didn't work. that also had like Death as like a main character that was being really funny.
Really, what?
I remember there is like another game and I think it was made by like Suda51.
Oh. Oh, yeah, it was in my video. Oh, God. What's the... It's the live service game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget. How am I forgetting its name? I put it in there. It was, I think, Let It Die?
Oh yeah.
Was it Let It... Yeah, it was Let It Die.
Star just came here to say I want Death to be a hot woman and left again.
I wish I could tell you that that's the case in Death's Gambit, but no, it isn't. He's just very whimsical, but he's very wise too. So it's a very interesting way to go about it. I find that he has this candor to him that's just very fun. He's kind of like, oh, just get the job done. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that is one of those things that is like very, very frustrating. It's like when you play a game and it's like, oh, that's almost good.
Yeah, well, it's because like I'm saving this for another video, but essentially just it's like because games are such an interesting medium because video games, because it's just like you have to now narrative is an important tool too, right?
Yeah.
And so when you look at a game on how it could recover, you're essentially going like, oh, the story was good, but the gameplay's bad. Yeah. Even though these two factors could necessarily be completely divergent and not necessarily intersect in a meaningful way per se. But if it's just bad, it just doesn't help, because then you just stick onto the portion that you did like, and it's like, oh, you should have just tacked this on to a completely different gameplay style for engagement. I think the only ones that sort of get away with it, even though they might not have the most engaging forms of gameplay, are point and clicks and visual novels, because story has to be the main. Focus.
I feel like in that case,
but they're minimal.
I feel like in that case, it's like a matter of like, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's like if a game is like selling itself as like a visual novel, you are just going to like read and click a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's like it's hard because like, some genres just tell you what exactly you're gonna get. Like Metroidvania, we mentioned earlier, right? You know what you're gonna get. A Souls, like, you know what you're gonna get, right? Character action, relative ballpark, right? But I think it's like the way that statement comes, it's like it's hard to find anything really original.
Yeah.
Until recently, Dura's been playing Blueprints. I can't find many comparisons for Blueprints.
That game looks really fun. I should play that at some point.
It does. He streamed it to me for a bit, and it's a very fun premise, and the gameplay actually operates really well with it too. That being said, he has gone insane crazy mode, because when Dura decides to have the completionist bug, he loses it. I think he's like 53 hours in. He's only gotten like 20% of the achievements.
Yeah, I don't like.
And I'm just like, this man will lose his entire life to this game.
Like, what's funny is like the first time I heard someone talking about like Blueprints, I was just like doing something else and watching a video in the background, so I misheard it and I thought they were talking about like Blueprints. So I spent like 15 minutes looking for Steam for a game called Blueprints. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's a very fun pun. It's a very fun pun, yeah. I mean, Yahtzee compared it. He compared it to like Obra Dinn and like Papers, Please, where it's just like, it's just enough of a mishmash of a bunch of different things to the point that it became original.
Yeah.
And so that's really neat. Blueprint. So I'm gonna type it for you. Don't worry. But yeah, I'm sure you've come across it or something from another streamer, or maybe saw it in a recommend page. But yeah, it's a really interesting look. I do want to get into it. I do know that because of my OCD nature, I'll probably go the route that Dura does to extrapolate every detail I can. So I'm just gonna keep that in the back until further notice. Also, just like lately I have not been in the habit of buying new games.
Yeah. New games in this economy?
In this economy, the only one that I bought recently was Blaze Blue Entropy Effect because it was on sale because of the Dead Cells crossover.
Yeah.
And then eventually Candy and I have to co-op play that on stream once.
Yeah.
They have your main, they have Tau, so I'll just be Ragna. That's about as accurate as our dynamic. Yeah. Like you being Tau and me being Ragna in any of our conversations is about on brand.
Tao.
Yeah, Tau's amazing. She's an extremely lovable character. It's a character where it's like the sex appeal isn't the draw for a female character at all. It's just that she's a goofball and you love her.
Yeah, I do love that one of her moves is like literally just like a giant middle finger.
Yeah, I love her paw punches. She's just very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
And like
great.
and like her like idle pose where you just like the arms like down when side to side.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, because Blaze Blue going into the route of like a roguelite works for the 2D animated. I would like them to get back into fighting games again. Just throw them in Guilty Gear. I would not care less for the lore reasons. I'd legitimately get hyped for almost any Blaze Blue character somehow getting into Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's free on PlayStation? Blueprints? Ain't no way, it just came out.
Maybe it's like on PS Plus, I don't know.
I guess, but like PS Plus like still usually like takes a couple months before like after the game's being relevant before it like puts it on. Cuz that's wild. Very rarely does it ever go near release cuz Blueprints only came out like last month, I think. Or like earlier this month. So that's wild.
I don't know, I feel like I don't want to think about like any new games to play until I actually fucking finish Yakuza Zero.
Yeah, that's fair. Like me too. Like I haven't been buying too many. Like I've just been trying to whittle it down. Cause since the video, I got gifted a fair share of games. So I went from like I think like 19 games to like 30, and I'm just like I gotta bring it back down in my head before I justify any sort of purchase.
Yeah. And like I guess like that is because like most of the games that I like are like very long games.
It's free for me on PlayStation? That's wild. I'll check on Blueprints on PlayStation then.
I feel like I can like maybe
Although
like,
I don't. Let me see this.
PS Plus games.
Wow. Maybe it might be just in the PS Plus catalog, because PS Plus does have the catalog system too. Who? I'm getting more people messaging me during my podcast time. How dare? How dare? I'm free almost every other moment of the day. You can't DM me then? Oh yeah, you got the catalog? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, alright. Fair. That makes sense. Rather, I was thinking monthly games for some reason, then I completely forgot about the catalog system. Although usually the catalog system doesn't get too many recent games right off the bat, so it's wild to me, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I do remember like there was a place I worked on once that had like
yeah, it's on the extra system. That's wild. Anyway, go ahead.
There was a place I used to work at that had like a PS5, and they had like and they had like an account with like the PS catalog on it, the PS Plus catalog, and there was a lot of like games I didn't expect to be there.
True. Like I mean, like if you're trying to, if you're gonna end up trying to compete with
Judgment.
Yeah. Well, those are
Final Fantasy 15.
My brain goes like, if a year has passed, I'm not too surprised. Maybe 2 years, right?
Yeah.
But if it's like within the first 3 months, like I genuinely will get surprised, like of release, because my brain immediately on the cynical aspect of like business immediately goes like, did the game do poorly?
Yeah.
Like that's my immediate thought process. Is like, did it do poorly? Is that why?
Usually what happens when a game shows up at launch in one of those services is they got like a huge fucking paycheck.
That's true. That could be it. I mean, to be fair, like, I'm not really complaining because like all I'd have to do is just sign up for PlayStation Plus again and then go through it, and then I mean, it makes sense that PlayStation Plus is trying to be more of a service considering like X Pass is a thing.
Yeah, but like I don't know, I feel like it feels short-sighted to like try to chase after Game Pass. because
Capitalism.
with Game Pass, Microsoft is on the find out phase.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that nobody's buying.
Well,
nobody's actually
the
buying
slight
Microsoft
difference
games anymore.
Yeah, well, the slight difference is like people are like it's still locked to the PlayStation console.
Yeah, but like
if PlayStation Plus had a client on PC, then yeah, I think it would hit PlayStation sales immediately.
no, but like the thing is like because like consoles are usually like subsidized by like software sales.
Yeah, that too.
And like
oh, you're right. Yeah, for making up the costs. Yeah, you're totally right. For subscriptions and software, yeah.
And like the thing is like the amount of money they are making of like Game Pass subscriptions is not enough to offset the amount of money they are not getting from games that are just not selling anymore.
Yeah, it's just such a because Game Pass on paper, like my brain goes on the economics. Whenever a service is too good on paper,
Yeah.
like there either has to be some catch or the company is just a loss leader. That's all it is.
Yeah. Like for example, like
so,
recently, like
yeah.
Like going back to the Oblivion remake. Like recently Bethesda put like like when a game sells a lot, they put like a little thank you on the Twitter and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Recently Bethesda put like a little one for like the Oblivion remake, but like the wording is very interesting because they didn't say the game sold 4 million copies. They said the game reached 4 million players.
Oh, I like that because it's just like, oh, how many people actually bought it?
And how many people just played it on Game Pass?
Ooh, why aren't you telling you and me lean in, like lean against Todd Howard, our chins up in the air, smug smirk. Toddy boy, Todd, Todd. How many people bought the game, Todd?
Yeah, and like for example, like like that Indiana Jones game that came out like the end of last year.
Yeah. By also, wait, is it owned by Bethesda again?
Yeah,
published.
It was published by Bethesda. It was made by Machine Games. That are the people who made the Wolfenstein games.
Yeah.
That game came out on like Xbox and PC like last year. It came out on PS5 like a couple of weeks ago, and it has already sold more copies on PS5.
That's so sad.
Because everyone who played it when it came out first was playing it on Game Pass.
Game Pass is just
because why wouldn't you?
It's just Xbox digging their own grave with like the thing that's kind of keeping them relevant is just such a baffling paradox.
Yeah.
It's like I have ascended the need for physical. Uh-oh, wait, I needed physical. Hold on.
Oh,
please.
No.
Oh no. It appears that I have pulled a gamer move.
Yeah. But like the thing is like it seems to affect Microsoft games more disproportionately. And I think it's because like when it comes
to because they offer the service on everything too. That's one of the big problems as well.
No, but like the thing about like for example is that when it comes to like non-Microsoft games on Game Pass, there is always the chance that they are going to like disappear.
Oh yeah.
Because they are usually just like have like a timed contract. For example, I think like the Yakuza games are not on Game Pass anymore.
Yeah. I remember commenting this on the first or second podcast, like we were talking about like the delisting situation is just like whenever you're up in these services, just remember you aren't owning them. You're owning the right to technically rent them.
So I think I think people are a bit more cautious about like like having like non-Xbox games on Game Pass, because like earlier this week another game came out called Kate Obscure Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've heard, it's really, really fucking good. But the thing about that game is that, it's a new IP. It's a new IP. It's like an unknown studio without like, they don't have like any like big names on the studio to like pull people, There is no like the director of the game or like an artist or anything like that. So it's like a new IP by like a new studio. It didn't have a huge budget, so it didn't have like a lot of like marketing either. Um, and it's like and it's a turn-based RPG, so it's not like the most like broadly appealing genre either. Uh, and it has and it sold like 500,000 copies in 3 days, so they are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
But that game is on Game Pass. So like, why are people playing that one and not Microsoft games?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because they didn't say the game. They didn't use the wording. You know, like you think about like, oh, we have reached half
It
a million
is.
players. They said we have
It is
sold
interesting though.
we have sold 500,000 copies.
I think the reason why the PlayStation Plus thing might be because it does bend to what my assumption is just like, yeah, might as well put this thing on a catalog thing maybe 2 or 3 years later so it doesn't cannibalize the relevant sales now on opening when it's at its strongest, you know? So because like that's the whole problem with Microsoft is it's a cannibalizing situation. It's just like, dog, what do you expect? It's like if McDonald's went just like, okay, you could pay for a Big Mac,
Yeah.
or you could not.
Yeah.
It's just like, and the person at the in front of the counter is like, I choose not to. Why does it?
Yeah, it's
why
like-
does it always fail? Why do I always fail?
Yeah, it's like you can pay me $10 for a Mac right now, for a Big Mac right now, or you can give me $20 and you can get another Big Mac as many times as you want for the rest of the year.
I'm gonna take the second one. You need to stop doing that. I just look you in the eye and like, why would you offer it? I just listen.
Yeah.
4 months later, I took Big Macs off the menu. I guess you showed me. Does my Mac membership card allow me to have other burgers? Yeah, totally. Oh, then I'll just eat other burgers. No, stop. Buy them. I beg of you. It's like, dude, you're the one who made this membership. Why are you so upset?
I think Microsoft like tries to like offset that a little bit with like DLC sales. Because like usually when like the games on Game Pass are just like the standard edition, right?
Yeah.
But like for example, you look at like the Forza games, and there is never like any actual new content. It's just like car packs, like new cars.
There's just no way I could see them fixing this that wouldn't be overcorrecting.
Yeah. And
Like
another
if you
huge
did like,
problem-
oh, you can only play X amount of hours per day on a given game, like some people would either be patient enough to just rotate, or it's just like people would just plummet out of the service.
Yeah, and like they also have like another and again like the fact that it is on PC is another thing that is
Yeah.
hurting them. Because if it was
Yeah.
only on Xbox, they would have a captive audience.
They would. You'd
So
have
they
your
would be able to
ecosystem.
increase the price.
Yeah.
If
But
it was only on Xbox, they would be
unfortunately-
able to increase the price because they had a captive audience. But what happens if you increase the price of Game Pass too much on PC? People are just going to go back to Steam sales.
Microsoft is the dude with dissociative identity disorder talking to himself in front of the mirror going, you think you can take everything away from me? I sure can. And you just it's just like, oh, okay. I don't have to do anything as an opponent. I just have to watch this. I don't know. I want them to. I don't want them to die. I keep on coming back to this. I just don't want them to die. But
But like they are not doing great, and but like honestly, like Sony doesn't look like they're like. I feel like Sony is like fumbling around too.
well, yeah. Anytime we I feel like we keep on repeating this every once in a while. It's just like when you win a cycle, you do a bunch of stupid decisions that makes people hate you, and then you just get the correcting generation later.
Yeah, but like the thing is like again like I guess like the other piece of news this week as far as game goes is like that new like marathon game.
Oh yeah, yeah. The one was that also a live service by Sony?
Yes, and they
Yeah.
had like an alpha this week, and everyone is saying that it's going to
Hmm.
be like Concord again.
Oh no. What?
But like, I honestly think this game is going to do it isn't going to do as bad as Concord. I think this game is going to be like that Avengers game. So it's going
Okay,
to
so not a
bomb.
dumpster fire, but a trash fire. All right.
It's going to bomb, but it's going to bomb slowly and in like and like go away in like a year instead of like 2 weeks.
I feel whoever's in the exec stable appeasing the CEO, like appeasing the like shareholders, is just going like, why isn't it working? And I'm just sitting here giggling to myself, like, oh no, woe is you,
More is you.
woe is you.
And also like it's also like going to cost money again. Like it's going to cost the same amount of money that Concord costed. Which is
If
like,
you're
why are you doing
going
that?
to invest in live service, like, how are you going to ignore the thing that makes a lot of the biggest ones like a success? Like the only one that kind of got away with it to my recollection immediately is Overwatch, and then I suppose before that was CS:GO continuously getting updates.
Uh, in a way, like because
But
like
was it fan or by
no,
devs?
like because like Counter Strike 2 replaced CS:GO. But like
Okay, so yes, it is. All right, then yeah.
but like Counter Strike 2 isn't really a new game. It's just like a big update for CS:GO.
Yeah, so I'm just saying just like ones where you actually pay and there's still like updates and stuff like that as a live service game that you
Yeah,
can
but like
argue,
the
but
thing
it's
is, like
like
both of those games eventually will go free.
yeah.
Like
And so
CS:GO
it's just
and
like
Overwatch are free now.
yeah. And so you just like look at it as like how are you going to sit there when all of your competition in the free like in the live service market are just quote unquote infinitely less than your game. Like I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to invest time and money, but like instead of paying like 80 to 90 on your live service, I could just play a different live service for free.
yeah, because like live services live and die on like, oh, my friends are playing this. Maybe I will hop in to join
Exactly.
this. But if you have to pay
And
$40, you are not going to do that.
yeah, that creates a new barrier of entry because your friends are there's a likely cap of how many friends you have that are willing to play it. There are some games where it works, like Monster Hunter, because that's a very niche community that goes to that.
Yeah,
But like,
but like Monster Hunter does have the
yeah,
advantage that like it is also less risky because like
it's
it's
the
not
only
going to
one
be
in
as
its.
fun. It's not going to be as fun, but they do have like a single player mode. So
They do,
if in 10 years the servers go down, you can still play the game.
I suppose. But even then, it's just like the whole thing kind of is revolved around the identity of co-oping with your friends, and it fills like a niche that has no. It's like the Pokemon situation where there's really no second place contender that comes close. Like you can get some guy screaming God Eater at me, but I don't remember any people going like, "Yo, bros, you want to hop on for God Eater?" Like,
Yeah,
no.
and then like
Like,
I mean like Dauntless was doing okay, like his own niche, but then he decided to kill himself
yeah.
with like a
So
horrible.
it's just
Like
like,
did you see like the thing about like the update they did with Dauntless that deleted like all the progression from everyone and locked a bunch of
oh
stuff that people
god.
it they had like it had they had like a big update and it deleted like all the progression from everyone, and then if you wanted your stuff back you had to like buy the microtransactions and like grind
Oh,
it out again.
screw that. How did it die because of that? It should.
Yeah, I kind of did. I think it hasn't
Good.
gone online yet, but like nobody's playing it.
Good. How dare they? That's stupid. Invalidating my time of playing your game? Like what in a live service? Like are you high? But it's like right, there are certain games where like people are willing to pay it in that sort of niche and then continue as like the updates go. But it's just like it's not that common. You're high off your rocker if you think you can do that, especially if you're new into the market.
Yeah.
When you have so many people that you're competing against in such a saturated market. And the brilliance of this, even though it's horribly predatory and evil, is that because it's free, people will more often than not pay their microtransactions because they're you know, their brain isn't assessing the entire cost right away. It's very momentary.
Yeah. And like also
Because
like
you went, oh, I didn't pay $90 for a game. Like, what harm does a $10 microtransaction happen? And then you have like maybe a refractory period, and they might do a microtransaction again. They kind of base it off of that.
yeah. And also
But when
I'm
you
thinking
put
about
a herd in the wallet at the start, like, they're not going to do that as easily. Yeah, go ahead.
another thing about this game is like the brand recognition thing. Because Marathon is like a pre-existing brand, right?
Okay.
Like those games are like there were like Marathon games before this one. But the thing is like before this one, the most recent Marathon game came out in 1996.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
So the only people who care about the name Marathon are people who don't want a live service game. They just want another fucking
Yeah,
shooter.
they just want. I don't know. Okay. There are games. There are games where I think like, as much as live service gets an ick, there are totally games I could look at and go, this would technically work as like a live service. It's usually the non-complex ones. Like I could look at Tetris Effect, or like Tetris, just being a live service game, and then you could have the Tetris Battle Royale mode. You could have Tetris Effect. You could have all this stuff that works in my brain. And whether or not you'd actually do it and like it is like a completely different story. But there are other things where it's just like, if the thing wasn't known for being a live service and you're dragging it into live service, you're making this for no one. That like if you're going, hey community like that likes this specific thing, would you like it if I completely upheaved the entire identity of this game to fit a market that you're not interested in? It's like, no, absolutely not. Well, too bad I'm doing it anyway. Please buy the game at full price and please drop some microtransaction bucks. Thank you.
Yeah. And like again, imagine if they decided to just like bring a fucking like Legacy of Kain game back. Imagine if they decided to like make a, because you know like you have heard of the series, right? Legacy of Kain.
Yeah, I know Legacy of Kain.
Imagine if they decided to like do one, but it's like do a new one, but it's like a live service game. It's like nobody's going to play it.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Devil May Cry live service, that'd be bad. Hey, guess what the mobile game?
It's been so long that the only people who care about that series are all people who don't want fucking multiplayer games anymore.
Yeah. Again, like, also, like, doing live service even when the thing isn't dead. They tried making a mobile game for Devil May Cry.
Yeah, and also like you know like here is the plot twist. Here is the plot twist. Here is the plot twist. They already tried that.
They did.
They already tried having a Legacy of Kain multiplayer game, and it bombed so hard it never got out of alpha.
I'm glad. This is coming from someone who grew up with Sony. Thank you for the follow, Annie. For I can't read this cursive.
I think
Any for reals. Any for reals too.
Yeah, but thank you for the follow. Thank you.
What was I gonna say? I forgot. I don't get it. Oh right. Part of me is like, I grew up with Sony, and so there is like a bizarre attachment, even though I don't necessarily enjoy having that attachment. But it's just like, it's the nostalgic thing of just being like, oh, this is what got me into gaming and stuff like that.
Or was it like, oh, the notification repeating itself again?
Yeah, but it's like, part of me is just so ecstatic that the live services are failing. It just brings me glee. Because I'm just like, good. You must learn from this.
They're not going to learn from that. They're just going to fight.
No, I think they're okay. Here's the thing: they're going to quote unquote learn, as in they go, oh, this is not an investment that's sustainable. Yes, you're right. They're going to fire a bunch of people, but then they're going to just move it on to another trend. That's just how it always goes. Yeah.
They're just going to keep doing this forever and ever and ever.
Because shareholders
never learns anything.
Never learns anything. Tee hee hee. You know, he kept that jingle in his new series.
Yeah.
But I think he just changed the name. But he's like, he kept the jingle. I'm like, I guess they can't copyright the jingle. But yeah,
That's so an
industry that never learns anything. Tee hee hee. I always love those specials. Very informative within the 6 minutes that he gives.
Yeah.
I
also love the names he gives to some genres.
Yeah.
like the way he calls like the modern like linear,
Ghost Train.
yeah,
Ghost Train's a good one.
yeah, and
He
like he,
he came up with Spectacle Fighter. I'm not entirely thrilled with Spectacle Fighter, but the word spectacle is apt. Yeah, yeah. Ghost Trains are definitely.
and also he like I remember he used to call like the back when that was the trend when everyone was trying to make like a Call of Duty game, he used to call them Spawn Gagger Wee Wee.
Yeah, Spunk Girl Wee Wee, Cock Up Cascades. Yeah. Yeah, Yahtzee's just very good at writing stuff. To be fair, I've also listened to his audiobooks.
Are they actually good? I have not actually listened to any of them.
Because he has quite a bit. I will save the galaxy for food. I think is the first one, or was it? Will destroy the galaxy for cash. Okay, the first one in that series is pretty good. The second one is a little annoying because the protagonist just is always angry and grumpy, to like
Yeah.
the extremity point where it's like you don't.
I mean, to be fair, that book was written by a middle-aged British man.
To be fair, yeah, but like I think the sequel was made after he had a kid and like his wife and kid, and he mellowed out a bit. And like the way the character's charm in the first one is that he's kind of like goes with the flow. He can get stressed and angry, but he kind of like will crack a joke. But like
Yeah.
the second one is just him being like extremely bitter at everyone to the point where it's like, okay, some of this isn't warranted and it gets frustrating. His comedy about like Lovecraftian creatures coming to Earth and then the political correctness is actually pretty funny. On the plot points and the systems that work on it, because it's a jab on both sides.
Yeah.
And like it works. Like those two books, like they're pretty solid. And then his book Mog World is decent. It has an interesting idea on AI and the ideas of like what constitutes life, but the comedy kind of runs flat. You can also see like common themes that he has when he does like writing, that it gets a little predictable throughout his books. And then Jam is like the post-apocalyptic one. That was like my least favorite all of them, because I kind of just a little dramatic. Well, I mean it's supposed to be dramatic, but I don't know. It's like it didn't entice me throughout most of it. I think mostly because the protagonist wasn't too interesting in my head, whereas the others at least had a bit of a defined personality. But yeah, I'd say if any of them, the first one for Save the Galaxy for Food or Destroy the Galaxy for Cash, like, is worth a read, and then, God, I don't know what the other series is named, but it's the politically joke on joke, a politically correct one. It's not really serious in any sort of capacity. It's just funny. But yeah, they're okay. He narrates them, but yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't look like what I would expect him to look. He looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, well, he mellowed out over time after he had like 2 kids and he has his dog and his wife.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. I think there was like one Ramblematic where he got really real, where he went on a monologue about mortality and the concept of slowing down, and he's like, and then I look at my child, the newborn generation or whatever, and just like, and how this magic may one day fade from him, and I question if I can hold him. And then the picture shows him lifting and carrying his child, and then there's silence for like 15 seconds. He's like, okay, putting him back down again, my hip. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like that is the thing, like when you, like, for example, like, oh, like, yeah, like I can feel myself getting old.
I don't like it.
Like, for example, like yesterday I don't know how, like, I guess like I slept wrong like the night before. So
Yeah.
yesterday I spent the entire day with like my neck like stuck in place.
My favorite is when I make a sound when I get out of a seat.
Yeah. Yeah, like
when I go,
it comes a
I don't
point
like
where
it.
you cannot get up without groaning.
You can't, yeah. And you're just like, I shouldn't be that old.
Yeah.
Your friend is just
Like yesterday,
pump
yesterday
me
I
up
was
with
having
stem
a
cells.
conversation.
Give me super soldiers here. Hmm?
Yesterday I was having a conversation with like some peeps on like a Discord,
Yeah.
and I checked like how old my Discord account is,
Mm-hmm.
and my Discord account turns 10 years in like a month and a half.
I think my Discord account is like older than yours too. Star, you should be sleeping. This
You are
woman,
taking your
this
age.
woman, this woman. I'm going to bed for realsies this time. Wakes up, I make noises too when I get up. Oh my god. Yeah. What? When was yours? 2015?
Yeah.
You never went to bed. Yeah, I think I was 2015 too. I don't know if yours was older than mine or not. Might be. Yeah, no, yours is actually older by a couple of months.
Yeah, because
That's how we got our names.
Mine is June 20.
Mine's September, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's September 3rd, 2015. That's how we managed to get like the usernames when they popped out, because it's by year.
Oh yeah, like when they changed the way usernames work,
Yeah.
we got priority because our accounts are so old. They give us like they was like
I was so happy.
names.
I was so happy. I got to be, you know, I still get to this day friend requests of people who have my name, and I'm sure they want to message me to get the handle, and I'm just sitting here like, no.
Can you sell me your account?
It was like, absolutely not. I love this handle.
I feel like my name is unique enough. I have never like tried to like get an account on like a new forum or anything like that, and run into like my name already existing. I think it is unique enough.
I have it for Twitch. This whoever got the Twitch title knocked, I am looking at you with anger because he doesn't do anything. I think the count is like inactive, which is just an insult. And I'm just sitting here, and I'm just like, Twitch used to be like, oh, after a certain period of time, some of these accounts, if they've been off for so long, they'll get deleted. And then when they're deleted, the name will be up for grabs. I went so far as to have a bot check it weekly. And it would say like, this person has no records of being online. And then I checked the admin thing, and it's just like, no, this thing's just gonna keep on here, and you're never gonna get the one username that you want. So I had to use offshoots of Noct, which is why I'm Nocturne. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what does happen to me a lot? What does happen to me a lot is that I try to create an account on like a forum or a website, and it tells me the username is already taken.
Mm-hmm.
And then I check, and I already have an account to the website.
That's pretty funny.
I
was bested by me.
Trust no one, not even yourself.
Trust no one, not even yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I went through a catalog of like edgy names before I kind of like finally like stumbled back into Noct, and I was like, yeah, okay, this works. And I know I'm gonna get from my German friends like, you're not supposed to say the C, and I'm just like, oh, it happens in Latin. I know they're different, but it's just a force of habit. I'm not gonna go like, yeah.
Why did you turn into Gollum?
I'm just upset because anytime I say my name, like Prude and Prude just goes like, actually you're supposed to pronounce it like this. I'm like, I'm too tired, man.
I think your problem is that you have too many German friends.
I have too many German friends and they give me too much flack.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we only have like
why do I say you? As if we don't share like all of them.
They're your friends too, yeah. Yeah, you do. I was gonna say, like, are you just saying they're not your friends?
I mean, but I guess it's not a problem for me because my name is in English.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. We also have one Germophile. It's Candy. I mean, Patchy. God, I'm getting you two mixed up so often now.
No, you have to remember. Candy is the one that is a danger for 50% of the human population. Patchy is the one that is a danger for all of them.
The longest standing username? Okay. I used to have a lot of usernames that were just I got tired of them and I kind of went on, and then this one kind of stuck because of theming that I like.
I still have a bunch of usernames that I like keep around.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know I do stuff, and it makes it convenient to have a bunch of different identities online that you can fall back to.
Yeah.
That you can fall back to. So like I have like right now I have like that I have like 7 different emails that I use regularly for like different stuff
Mm-hmm.
of
I have one
varying
just
of
for
varying levels of legality.
moving on. I just have one for like ones for like promotions for stores because I know I'm just
Yeah.
gonna get spam.
Oh yeah, I
So
I
like
have I have
yeah,
an
I just
email.
have
I have an
that.
email like back when I played Genshin, I had an email just for that because I didn't want Genshin spam on my email.
Fair.
I
Why
didn't
does
want
Stardust get censored in way too many games? Why does it? Why would it
probably
proc a
card.
censor?
I don't know. Because
Oh,
like they don't
right,
actually like
right,
censors don't
right.
actually like try to get context. They just like find specific strings of characters.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
So like I have seen like anything that contains the letter ASS usually gets like censored too.
Mm-hmm.
So like the word SAS gets censored and stuff like that because
I
they
guess you could try Starlight.
because they're not like um they are not like trying to like they're not actually reading anything. They are just like finding specific strings of characters and going, no,
Yeah,
you
true.
are getting bunked.
True. Screw context. I don't know. I don't know. This is interesting. Gamer tags are just such a fun form of identity and stuff too, though. Usernames in general,
Yeah.
and just kind of finding the one that sticks with you and just going like, yeah, no, this works.
I do find it like annoying how many platforms like give you like what like try to like charge you money.
To change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that stupid. Mahjong Soul has that.
It's like so
And I'm
freaking
just like, if I
annoying.
settled, but like you think about it, right? And like now that we're kind of like well into our years, you have your established names.
Yeah.
But like I can totally see this being the thing that would be enticing to a kid who's very like whimsical or like thinks the last name they made was cringe and then they want to change it again.
Uh-huh. And but
Because that
also
happens to
like
a
I
lot of
remember
people.
for example like no, like it's also like people like me, for example, like before I think like I don't remember what year I came out, but like before that, I had much more masculine names like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have to go around just like changing the names to like fit my new identity and stuff. And
Yeah.
I do remember like the ones that were like very fucking annoying. They were trying to like charge me money for that. I actually just created new accounts because whatever. Because the only thing the only account I have to keep is my Steam account because it's the only one that has like any like actual amount of like monetary value.
Oh, I used to have some cringe anime accounts that were named after anime characters I like.
Uh,
The game accounts named after anime. Yeah, I'm remembering this. This is flooding back to me.
yeah, but like I do remember I looked everywhere when it came time to like change my name on GOG. Uh, because I do have a GOG account and I use some games in there. Uh, when it came time to change my name, uh, on GOG, I was looking everywhere for like the option to change the name, and I was like, okay, how do I do this? Are they going to charge me money? Like I don't even see like a button to buy. Can I not do it? Like is it like impossible? Do they not have the system? Because I didn't even see like a button to like pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to just like message support, to just like email support and be like, hey, I'm trying to like change my username and my email. Can you like help me with that? I don't see like an option. And they just go, hey, can you? And they just ask me like, hey, can I like I'm going to send you like a, and they reply to me and they go, I'm going to send you like a code to like your current email. to verify that is you. Can you do that? And I go, yeah, whatever. And I get them the code, and they change the username for me, which was very nice.
That's very sweet. I mean, to be fair, GOG is known for being like pretty stand up in service, right?
And I don't know, like that was a few years ago. They probably have like a button to change the username at this point.
Probably did. I think. Do I think it's more scummy to have like the pay option or just no option at all? This is an interesting problem.
No, because if they have no option, it's like, well, it can be like, if they have no option at all, you can use whatever. It's probably some spaghetti code.
Whatever, or you can at least contact support, right? Yeah,
Or
you're right.
you can just
right.
like think it's probably just some spaghetti code, and they cannot do it because it breaks the database or something. But if they are charging money, it means they can do it. They know how to do it. But they want money for
and then
it.
it's scummy. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably pick scissors anyway. Oof.
Oh, Silent, that was good. That was good. That was... that was good. I'm proud. I'm just proud. I can't say anything else. That was... I mean, Star, you kind of... I wouldn't say you handed it to a silver platter. Your existence did that.
Speaking of that, thank you for letting me know that Twitch is going to keep annoying me about the word lesbian. Why does it do that? Like genuinely, like it's so fucking annoying.
Twitch fears lesbians. Like fears, like actively fears.
Yeah.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, the pound mates. The lesbian pound.
I'll summon them one day. Is it gonna yell at lesbians?
Let's go, lesbians.
Let's go, lesbians.
What even is like, because I do remember, like, I did actually watch that, like, back when because there was like a period of time where I spent most of my time alone at home.
Yeah.
So I had like I had a laptop back then. So I would just like, when I was alone, I would just like move my laptop to like the living room and like also like turn on the TV and like just put something as like background noise.
I used to do that too, yeah. I did that with the Colbert Report a lot.
Yeah. So I would like put it a lot on like Comedy Central.
Yeah, Comedy Central was solid.
I would spend a lot of time on Comedy Central, and that was I don't know about like where you live, but where I live, that is the channel that had that show, like Billy on the Street. Because that is
I've never watched that, so
that is the show, that is the show that the Let's Go Lesbians clip is from.
Yeah.
That is the show that but like the thing is like, so I did actually end up watching a few episodes of that one, but I never got to the one about the lesbians. But like it's a very nice show because it's like it's a very nice show because it's like, like those channels, like those YouTube channels that are like that pester people on the street for content.
Yeah.
That they just like pester random people on the street for content. It was like, what if that would like not for psychopaths? So like, what if that would like in a way where like everyone is laughing at the end?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So like, for example, he would just like appear like at people. He would just like show up and like without like an introduction or anything like that, he would go like, for $1, name a woman. For $1, name a woman. And people will be like, like, because of the surprise, they will like, because if someone asks you that, you're not going to be able to think about any woman. Hey, Retro. Hello. Thank you, Raiders. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the raid.
Hello.
Welcome. Is the notification playing? I thought I fixed the notifications. No, but thank you for the raid. What were you doing? What were you doing on stream? I hope you were having fun.
I should have.
Yeah,
I
hello
should have got
everyone.
water.
Um, Hello everyone. My name is PanickingCandy, and this guy here is one of my best friends, Nick. He joins me
Oh,
every Saturday for just a little yapping session. Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. Oh, you actually
you.
drank water today? Congratulations. I didn't. I never do.
You
My pee is
hydrate.
red.
Oh my god. Oh wait, you're colorblind. Never mind.
Hello. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love CRTs. I do have like two CRTs on my room right now. They're great. What were you doing on your stream? I don't have a hydrate. I keep forgetting to get a hydrate redeem.
Hydrate.
Was failing? What were you trying to do? What were you trying to do? Give me a second. I need to sneeze, I think.
You cannot fix.
I mean, it's true, but you don't have to say it when there's new people around.
ST4 us turned Candy into a cat girl.
Oh, God damn it.
You chose this life.
Yeah, I chose this
I'm
life.
just sitting here. You
This is
chose
my
this
life
life.
now.
This is your life now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I got one more topic in me before I pass out. What are we gonna talk
Yeah.
about?
What are we going to talk about?
I'm gonna talk about.
Let me
The
see, like, what?
Silent Gamer 86
Oh,
summons the
you
wheel
are
of
just.
fire.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I look very cute with the cat ears on.
You do. Nick, can you give me your EP? Oh, it took me a second to realize that. I can't EP.
The wheel of fire.
I'll give you some of my EP, buddy.
Hey, no fire today. Yay.
Start. All you gotta do, turn off the screen. You're not gonna do that, but like, in a hypothetical situation where you do, turn off the screen and make yourself a warm cup of milk, and then just things will fall into place.
Yeah. I
I know what I'm
I was
talking about.
trying to do a video encoder swap on a Sega Genesis and just broke things a lot. Yeah, I get that. Like, like usually when I try to fix something, it just like breaks. Like I remember
you know,
I remember I killed my PS Vita trying to like fix the battery.
you have to go 3 flights of stairs to get milk. Do you live in the attic? What sort of mansion ass situation are you doing? Or do you keep milk in the basement?
I mean, maybe it remains colder in the basement. I don't know.
Depends on if you have a freezer room.
I would love to like get into like real hardware consoles, real like consoles at some point, like getting into like collecting.
Yeah, that could be cool.
But right now my focus is on like on the Windows XP machine.
Mansion. I'm jealous she lives in the attic. Can't afford it anymore. What's it? Okay. Alright, you know what? That'll be our last topic. What's your dream house situation? Candy.
Underground.
I don't know what I was expecting.
I know that sounds weird, but like I think like the thing like the two things that annoy me the most are noisy neighbors and sunlight. So that fixes it.
I just don't know. I don't know why I bothered. She's just a Nosferatu from Vampire the Masquerade. I didn't.
I'm a vampire, yay.
I just forgot because all the Nosferatu do is they just chill in sewers in the underground and then they just like argue with people on the internet. That's all they do.
Listen. You have to admit, I am smart because all I do is argue with people on the internet, but I am monetizing it.
That's true. You know what? Nosferatus would probably make good VTubers because you wouldn't have to actually do the live cam. Yeah, this is a brilliant way to game the system.
Yeah, I would love to connect. I would love to collect retro consoles at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, I guess like it's because I grew up playing games on PC. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you for the raid again, retro. And yeah, the
Take
thing I
care.
saw the other day with you, like modding the NES was really cool. So if I ever have like some doubts about that, I will definitely hit you up. Thank you for the raid and have a good night. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Yeah, because the guy Nick, the guy who raided me, retro,
Yeah,
like I rated him before, and he was like installing like a custom like video output mode on an NES, and it was really chill, but really cool. It was really nice.
I'd be a sucker for that. Just like the IRL streams where you get to see modding kits and stuff. It's very ASMR in my head.
Yeah, that's nice. Right now, I only have a Windows XP machine, but I would love to get like a couple more or computers too.
I think I'm also just like a fan of like the form factor of a lot of old stuff
Yeah, because like
and just inspecting in that.
old consoles are like small and like pretty.
Yeah.
Like
Well, also
everything.
like old, especially the handhelds. I just find them very satisfying to hold.
Yeah, and honestly, like
Yeah.
that is a thing I have with like modern handhelds. Bye bye, retro. Thank you again for the raid.
Take care, Retro.
Take care. But like a 386 with Windows 3.9, so 3.1 sounds really fun. Um, but yeah, like that is a problem I have with like the Switch. That is a problem I have with like the Switch and like the Steam Deck. I honestly think they are too big. I think they are a little bit too big
Yeah.
because like I'm thinking
Yeah.
back to like
Yeah. I can.
I'm thinking back to like back when before I killed my PS Vita by trying to like fix the battery. It was really nice to just like have something that fits in my pocket.
Yeah. No. I had those days during the PSP and the DS. OG.
Like I feel like handhelds have kind of missed the point because you need a bag to have to carry a handheld, so you might as well just get a laptop.
I also started defeating the purpose once you had like those Nintendo 3DS XLs that were huge as hell.
Yeah.
I was just like, I get it. I get the reasons why, but it's just like,
No, so like there is like a problem with like um yeah, Star has a very peculiar way of typing. Let's just say it like that. Um yeah, but like I kind of get why like handhelds are getting bigger because there used to be a thing called Moore's Law. Moore's Law. Blah, 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 blah. My accent is
Moore's Law, yeah.
Moore's Law, which basically means that like every 2 years the amount of transistors on a chip doubles, right?
Yeah.
And for a very long time, that was the way like stuff getting faster because transistors were very big, like at the beginning. Um, Transistors were very big at the beginning, and they kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So, for example, like if you think of like for example like the original PS3 and Xbox 360, they were made using like a 160 nanometer process. That means like every transistor is 160 nanometers, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about nanometers, so they are still very small. But like nowadays, stuff gets made with like 5 nanometers. So we're talking about like an actual like multiple hundred times smaller reduction in size. But the thing is, like, we kind of don't know how to make transistors smaller anymore. Like, nobody knows how to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is like because like for the longest time, like every 2 years we figured out a way, like every year and a half, 2 years we figured out a way to make like transistors just like a little bit smaller, so we can put like a bit more transistors on like the same on like a chip of the same size. Uh, and so we get like more power and like something that is like the same size and use like the same amount of heat and stuff like that. But we kind of don't know how to make transistors smaller anymore because like right now the like cutting edge is like 2 nanometers. And it's like, where the fuck do you go from there? Like, how do you make something smaller than 2 nanometers? And that is like a big issue, and that is like, for example, why Nvidia is leaning so hard into like the software side with like new features on every generation instead of like making them faster. And it's also the reason why like GPUs are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger every fucking year lately. Have you noticed that? Like, have you seen how fucking big the like new GPUs from Nvidia are?
Yeah, like homunculuses, like the huge chunky units.
Like you remember back when you could get uh do you remember back when you could get like a decent GPU that would fit into like a single slot in the back?
Yeah, I remember that.
I know, like every GPU nowadays is like 3 slots, like 12 centimeters long, like almost a kilogram. And it's because we don't know how to, and the reason for that is because we don't know how to make transistors smaller anymore. So we have to make the chips bigger and use more power. So that is why the Switch is bigger than the Switch 2 is bigger than the Switch. That is why the Rogue Ally is bigger than the Steam Deck. And that is why all of them are bigger than the PS Vita. Well, yeah, I honestly like as far as like form factor for a handheld goes, I honestly think the PS Vita is like the best one. Like, it is big enough that it doesn't hurt to use, and you get like all of the buttons. You get like 2 sticks, you get like a D-pad, you get like all of the buttons, but it is small enough that it fits in your pocket. So it's very, very nice, very convenient, very, very sweet. Honestly, just like a very pretty console too. I think like the design of the PSP and the PS Vita are very like attractive, like visually too.
Yeah, I like the PSP's design a lot. You know what? Even if the PSP Go was a piece of crap, I'll even say I liked its form factor.
That was the one that was like a little slidey thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, that was the thing. Like, I do love, like, I actually had like a phone that was like that. I had a phone that has like a keyboard that would slide that from like down from behind when you were going to use it. It was very, very fun. And surprisingly enough, I didn't break it. I just replaced that phone. It didn't break. I just replaced it when I finally got a smartphone. What is like aesthetically? What is your favorite console actually?
Favorite console, like including home consoles?
Yeah, but like entirely from like aesthetic, like visuals, like
Oh, aesthetic.
yeah.
Aesthetic. That's a good one.
I think I do. I think I know
PS
what mine is.
PlayStation 1's up there. The Game Boy Advance SP is up there.
With or without the tribals?
Tribal.
Do you remember the tribal?
I remember the
SP?
tribal Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, that shit was. I'm playing Mike Tyson, bro. The DS Lite. But I do hate the DS Lite's hinges. It's infamous for having really weak hinges. And then the PSP 3000. So I'm gonna say in terms of complete aesthetic, maybe it's gotta be a tie between the PlayStation 1 or the PSP 3000.
Okay, so let me get like yours on screen so people can see them. But like the
Or you
original
want
PS1.
no. Okay, are we just going purely off aesthetic, like no functionality points?
Yeah, just like this is pretty.
Oh,
Like this is like very pretty.
oh,
To look at.
then yeah, then okay, then if it's not functionality, it's the DS Lite or the PSP 3000.
Okay, so give me a moment. I'm going to put yours on screen so people can see them. DS Lite and PSP 3000.
Yep.
The PSP is a very pretty machine. Like, I do
Yeah.
love that design a lot. But then we put them on screen so people can see what you're talking about. Okay, so you mentioned the PS1. I'm assuming it was like the very, very like first one, the original, like kind of fat one.
The DS or the PSP?
The PS1, because you also mentioned that one.
Oh,
Because there is
yeah,
like a
the
revision
fat
that is
one.
like rounder.
Yeah, I remember the router revision. I'm trying to remember because that one's the one in my mind, but I'm gonna remember the PS1 original for a real sec. Hold on, let me check. Oh no, I like the PSP original. I mean the PlayStation 1 original.
Yeah, okay, so
I love it far more.
these are the consoles Nick has mentioned. This is the PS1. This is the DS Lite. Why is this not transparent? What the fuck? I thought it was a PNG.
Me too.
And this is the PSP 3000.
Yeah, I played a lot of Dissidia on that.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick three, I'm trying to think out like. I think like my first one is going to be the Japanese, and specifically the Japanese um SNES.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a very, very pretty console, the Japanese SNES. Oh, why is this so big?
That's actually really good. I mean, controller alone, I love that controller so much.
Yeah, but like it's a very like pretty console. I think the again we are going like exclusively by aesthetics, no functionality. So I think the Wii Mini. I really like the Wii Mini. Like it's kind of a shitty console because it is like a Wii but like with less features. So it's not great. But I do like it. I do think it's like a very pretty console.
Oh yeah, I remember this Wii U revision. It was actually pretty good.
And honestly I think the Wii U is like kind of okay looking. It isn't great, but it's kind of okay looking. What I'm going to go for like the third one, I'm going to go with the Nintendo 2DS. But like the
The
revision.
Cake Wedge?
No. But like the revision, the Nintendo 2DS.
Oh,
XL.
the foldable. Yeah.
Yeah, because it is like a Nintendo 3DS, but like a little bit softer and with like a nice cover and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
you know
the
what?
factor.
Some people don't like it because they say the top looks like a smartphone, but I'm like, I'm actually all for it. It kind of looks cool. No, you have some solid picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we were going entirely on retro, but like, no, these are. I mean, to be fair, technically speaking, these are. Oh my god, these are.
I mean, like yeah, like the Nintendo DS, because like the Nintendo 3DS is fundamentally just like a Nintendo 3DS without the 3D. So we're talking about like a 2012 console, and which is like 13 years by now. The Wii is like almost 20 years by now. The Nintendo DS is 20 years, and the PSP is like almost as old as the Wii. Oh Jesus Christ!
The passage of time is a torrent of sand within an hourglass that we are just susceptible to being
Yeah,
dragged along. It is all retro. We are retro.
yeah,
And
we
like
are.
this stream too is going to be retro because it will soon be history. But don't worry, there will be a podcast in the near future next week. But for now, you can check me out on youtube.com/nocturne or follow me on Twitch through the link on the title. But if you want to live in the now even further, you should focus on our. Oh, hold on. But that's just for me, for the guest. For our star over here, PanickingCandy, you can follow her on her YouTube or Twitch if you aren't already caught up on her content that you might have missed, like the podcast. Or you can look forward to the future ramblings of Candy on her Blue Sky. But if you want to live in the moment, join her Discord server. And all of these will be provided by the bot in the chat. And if you want to use the present to give us advice for future podcasts with such feedback like, hey, free the lesbians, we'll respond with, you've summoned Star,
Or hey,
who should
drink
be
some fucking
sleeping.
water.
Drink some water. Good night, everyone.
And there
I'm
she
gonna
is.
go to bed. I was right. Feedback's always right. Adios, folks.
Bye bye. Okay, so let me check here. Yeah, so thank you everyone for stopping by. I am yet to ask Nick for advice on how to make an outro. I know it's not a great look. I know it's not a great look that I am yet to ask Nick for advice on making an outro, but it's fine. I will ask him I will ask in good time. I will ask in good time eventually when I remember. You are being sundares. That is what you are. You are being sundares. But yeah, yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by. I do again apologize for like the lack of stream this week. It has been a mess. This week has been a mess. And some stuff is like piling up. Like, you know, like not to get, and I'm probably going to be like dealing with some stuff in the future too. Like not to get to like into too many details, but there are like some issues with my family, and like I am without a job again. Like so I am back in like the job hunt. So it's very annoying. It's kind of a mess. But hopefully I will be able to. I will not lie. I am very very stressed. Very like, because you know like having to leave that one job I found, like it put me it put me in a very bad situation. But hopefully I'll find another one soon enough. But yeah, like I think next week I will be able to like I hope next week I'm going to be able to like focus my energy back on stream and actually get some stuff done. And actually make some progress on Yakuza 0, because it's a very long game and we are doing nothing on it. We are still on the fucking like 4th chapter. There is like 21 chapters. We're still on the fucking 4th chapter. We need to make some progress in Yakuza 0. Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah. Hopefully I will let you guys know tomorrow on the Discord. Like what the schedule is going to be next week. I think I'm going to try streaming like close to every day next week. I don't know. I let you guys know because I do have to like deal with some stuff in my house again. It's been a very messy week, messy month. But hopefully I will be able to stream more next week. I'll let you guys know. For now, we're going to rate someone. Don't overstream yourself. Like, yeah, like that's like, I mean, there's like this one friend I have. There is this one friend I have that like, she doesn't like super follow VTubers or anything like that. She doesn't like super follow VTubers or anything like that. But she did hear about like the Gura stuff because everyone heard about the Gura stuff. And the thing is like, when she heard about the Gura stuff, she actually messaged me like and told me that like, if you ever get big, make sure you don't burn out. And it was very sweet, but it was also like very funny. Like she actually like even thought about like messaging me because of that. It was very funny. Who do we write today? Oh, she's never live usually when I'm live. So let's go rate her. Let's go rate Uni. I love Uni. Yuppie. I love Yuppie. But yeah, again, like thank you everyone for stopping by. I will let you guys know on the Discord what the plans are going to be for next week. And yeah, I'll see you guys again, hopefully Monday. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Thank you for the patience for on this week, and see you again Monday, hopefully. Bye bye. Bye bye. Wait, where did my buttons go? My buttons disappeared. Okay, I found them. Okay, bye bye everyone. Bye bye. Many hugs, many kisses. Bye bye.